Texas Rangers baseball is presented by AT&T Uber's TV. Well, Michael Young with two of his young sons, and a rousing evening here at Globe Life Park as the Ranger faithful turned out to honor Michael Young, along with many folks giving speeches that I'm not sure there's a dry eye left in the house. Michael Young was tremendous, thanking everybody. Hope you all enjoyed that, and hope you'll enjoy the ball game as much. The Rangers taking on the Toronto Blue Jays tonight with Tom Grieve. I'm Steve Busby. And, this is the kind of night, Tom, that you think, we could use a Michael Young in the locker room and in the clubhouse, in the dugout right now, because things aren't going well. That's when you turn to the veterans. Fortunately, the Rangers still have Adrian Beltre to turn to.
Well, they do, Buzz. And, he was injured. He spent some time on the disabled list. Had a little downturn there, but he's starting to get hot right now. He's had 4 good games. He's hit .390 in those 4 games. It's important to have the middle of the lineup guys hot and going well. But really, for the Rangers to gel as a team, it's got to happen 1 through 9. The 4 guys on the bench have to contribute. The pitching has to get a little better. The whole team has to come together. But it all starts with the key guys, and certainly Adrian is one of those.
Well, he is, and the Rangers will rely on him with a few more things going wrong that we'll get into as the game goes on. Well, Michael Joyce leading things off. Mitch Moreland at first base tonight. It'll be the Rangers taking on the Blue Jays in Game 2 of this 3-game series. Starting lineup coming up next. Make the first pitch here in just a moment to Jose Reyes, starting things off after that stirring tribute to Michael Young here this evening. Rangers trying to bounce back to get a W, and Robbie Ross trying to turn things around for himself personally. On a 5-game rough stretch, he throws strike 1 to Reyes. Reyes, the switch hitter, up there from the right side, takes a bit low. An 80-degree evening here at Globe Life Park in Arlington. Robbie Ross with that 1-4 record, a 5.04 ERA. 1-1 pitch. And that is a bit low. It's 2-1. Reyes, 3 home runs, 9 driven in, had his 7-game hitting streak snapped here in last night's game. He takes a strike there to even the count at 2 balls, 2 strikes.
We'll check our Sonic scouting report for Robbie. 8 starts this year. He's 1-4. His ERA is .504. 29 hits in his last 15 1/3. Does get a lot of ground balls. He'll be looking at some ground balls tonight to be hit at the second baseman and the shortstop. 2.58 ground balls per fly ball. That's 4th in the American League.
Ross okays the sign. He comes back with the 2-2, and it's hit in the air to left center field. Long run back for Leonis Martin on the track. Reaches up and hauls it in as he steps onto the cinder. That ball carried pretty well.
He did. He must not have been playing that deep because he had to run a long way to get it.
So Reyes out to start things off. Let's take a look at the rest of the Blue Jays lineup tonight. It is facing Robbie Ross. Melky Cabrera is the DH. He is batting next. Jose Bautista is in right field. Evan Encarnacion is at first. 5th place hitter is Brett Lowry, the 3rd baseman. Deandre Navarro back in the lineup. He's batting 6th. Steve Tollison at 2nd. Kevin Pillar is the left fielder. And Anthony Ghost bats 9th and plays center field. Well, here's Cabrera. And Robbie Ross fires strike 1.
You can see where he started out. Relatively shallow in center field, and he had to go all the way to the warning track at a dead sprint to run that ball down. It was a nice play.
Slowly hit up the middle. Elvis behind the bag on to first. And very quickly 2 out for Robbie Ross and the Rangers.
Those are the kind of ground balls we're looking for tonight.
Yeah.
Get in on the fist, hit them weakly, and make easy plays for the infielders.
Take a look at the rest of the Ranger defense. Is presented to you by Chicken Express. Jitsu Chu is in left. You saw Leonis Martin in center. Michael Choice the starting right. Mitch Moreland at first. Luis Sardinas is second base. Elvis at short. Adrian Beltre at third. And back behind the plate is Robinson Chirinos handling Robbie Ross. Jose Bautista, 290 hitter. Waiting for the 1-0 pitch. It's on the way and low and outside. 2-0. Bautista, 10 home runs. That is tops on the Blue Jay team. 29 RBI. 2-0 pitch. That ball is hammered to left. If it's fair, it is out of here. And the Blue Jays lead 1-0. Jose Bautista is the 11th home run of the year. Gets Toronto on top early.
Well, Bautista had a hard time last night against Yu Darvish. Struck out the first 3 times at bat and had some terrible swings. Darvish just really overmatched him, and he's a good hitter who walks 100 times. When he gets ahead in the count, gets a fastball right down the middle of the plate, and that's one place Robbie has to keep the ball away from, especially against a guy like Bautista.
That's been kind of the MO for Robbie Ross the last 4 or 5 starts, and he's been having problems. Off-speed pitch bends over to Edwin Encarnacion. Ball getting out of by about 6 rows. But missing in the middle of the plate is not what you can do against a team, especially against a team like this. And Robbie found that out against several ball clubs, most notably Colorado, who really gave him a tough time. Rip and a miss by Encarnacion.
That's one thing he's got to do in addition to the 89 to 91 mile an hour two-seam fastball. He's got to mix in his curveball. Doesn't throw a changeup very often, but that's a decent curveball, and he has to give the hitter something to look at other than something going 90 miles an hour.
That's outside, and Encarnacion now with a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Blue Jay first baseman, a 242 hitter in the month of May. 247 overall. 6 home runs and 15 driven in. Low and inside, the count is now full, and Encarnacion tried to extend this first inning. He'll be followed by the third baseman, Brett Lowry. Just underway from Globe Life Park. Toronto on top, 1-0. The solo home run by Jose Bautista. A chopper foul at home plate. We'll try it again on 3-2. Darvish last night kind of made mincemeat of the middle 2 guys in the order.
Right-hand hitters didn't stand a chance last night.
And low and inside, Robbie Ross loses Encarnacion with a 2-out walk. And that'll bring up Lowry.
I don't think a right-hand hitter had a hit until Kratz butted for it by the 8th inning.
exactly right.
That was a big bunt. Reyes bunted after that, and they ended up with 2 men on and nobody out on 2 bunts. They both scored.
Well, Lowry steps in, hitting at just 237, but it has been pretty powerful 237. 7 home runs, 24 driven in. Had the start at second base last night, and this John Gibbons lineup against left-handed starters. He moves Lowry over to third, and Juan Francisco takes a seat.
Lowry was cold the first 3 weeks of the season. He'd been hot the last 3 weeks of the season.
Pitch inside to even things up, and a ball and a strike.
I had a chance to watch him a little bit. Don't play the Blue Jays all that much, but he's got the potential to be a very good offensive player. Got a good swing, aggressive hitter, drives the ball. Well, he hasn't done much his first couple of years, but the potential's there. Got him in a trade with Milwaukee. He was number 1 draft choice with Milwaukee.
And he's also, and I would think it would help him, in the middle of a bunch of guys that are the same idea, same kind of aggressive hitters.
He's got a lot of guys to take the pressure off him as a young player. He's got 3 or 4 guys in the lineup that can really hit, so he can just kind of blend into the lineup and should be able to pick up a lot of RBIs because he'll have men on. He's usually got guys hitting behind him that are pretty good. Pretty good lineup to be in for a hitter breaking into the big leagues. This will be his 3rd full season.
Encarnacion, a small lead at first. The 2-2 is outside. And for the second straight hitter now, Robbie Ross with a 3-2 count. Lowry hitting 5th in the order. He'll be followed by the catcher, Deoner Navarro. Now, Robbie trying to recover from that solo home run with 2 outs to Bautista. Walked Encarnacion, and now he's setting for the payoff pitch to Lowry. Got him swinging. The fastball by him, and the damage is minimized. A run on Bautista's home run. We're going to the bottom of the 1st. The Blue Jays 1. Rangers coming up. On Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealer. Take the EcoBoost Challenge to see why Ford is the best in Texas. By AT&T U-Burst TV. Check availability at 1-800-PIC-ATT. Rethink possible. By the all-new Mazda 3 with seamless connectivity. And by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. Well, the 35-year-old veteran Mark Buehrle, no-hit fame against the Rangers back in 2007, facing Michael Joyce. And Joyce, a little tapper that Buehrle fields and throws to first in time. Joyce an out, and there won't be a whole lot of time to talk about things between pitches for Mark Buehrle. He does not waste any time. Let's take a look at the Southwest Airlines Texas Rangers lineup tonight. You saw Michael Joyce. Elvis Andrus is next, and it's Shin-Soo Choo batting third. Adrian Beltre in the cleanup hole. Alex Rios DHs tonight. Mitch Moreland at first. Robinson Chirinos catches. Leonis Martin bats 8th and plays center. And Luis Sardinas gets the start at second. He is batting 9th. And the lineup juggled around because of the absence of Prince Fielder, in case you happen to miss it. Fielder, an injection in his neck. He has a bulging disc in his neck. Said he's been experiencing problems for a couple of weeks. So he is out of the lineup for tonight, tomorrow, and hopefully back by Tuesday after the off day.
Sonic scouting report for Mark Burley. He's had a terrific career, and he might be having his best season. Easy ground out to second base by Elvis. But more on Burley. An 0.92 ERA in 4 road starts, threw a no-hitter against the Rangers in 07. He's won 193 games in his career. He's 50 games over 500. Career ERA of 3.81. And if there's a number of players who have earned every dime that they've made in baseball, but Burley's one of them for sure. The guy that's pitched for 13 years, he's never missed a start. He's never been on the disabled list. He constantly gives you 200 innings. Everything that you want in consistency from a pitcher, it's Mark Burley. And whatever he's been paid, he's earned every dime of it.
Yeah, got that right.
What'd you say?
I would say so, yeah. Working to Shin-Soo Choo has had very good success against Burley over the years. But Mark Burley, the model of consistency. You want a veteran to come in and show your young guys how to pitch. Mark Burley would be pretty good.
You know, he's 35 years old, and he's never been a hard thrower. You could make a slight comparison maybe to Jamie Moyer. And if Burley continues to be healthy, which he's shown no signs of not being healthy, he could easily pitch till he's 40.
Yeah.
And if he does, he's got a chance to win 260, 270 games. If he's playing on good teams, he'd score him a lot of runs.
2-2 pitch. That is chopped down foul.
But he does everything well. He's a good fielder. He holds runners. 438 consecutive starts. Almost 3,000 innings. He's won 193 games. He's had 2 no-hitters. He's got great control, good changeup. And you might go up to the plate thinking, man, this guy doesn't throw very hard. I'm teeing off on this guy. The next thing you know, you've hit 3 balls off the end of the bat, one back to him, one to third base.
That's
you
right.
go back to the dugout, you're 0 for 3, and you go, man, the heck went wrong?
Another 2-2 pitch. And Choo able to lay off it. So the count is full. With 2 outs, Choo trying to get aboard. Adrian Beltre, the cleanup hitter for the Rangers tonight, waits to be next. And Burley again, he was ready to go, and Choo said, wait a minute. Not quite ready. Burley works the fastest of any pitcher in the major leagues right now. And Choo fouls it out of play down the left side. Over to take a look is Villar, but it's well back in that play. Burley takes less than 17 seconds between pitches. They time all this stuff, and he's about a half second faster than the next closest.
Well, you know, every pitcher in baseball should watch that and try to copy it.
Yep.
They'd be better, the game would be better.
Another foul ball off the bat of Choo.
You also should follow him around and watch what he does between seasons in the off season, what he does between starts, how he works out. Because with all the injuries, all the Tommy John surgeries, this guy's never been on the disabled list.
Fly ball pretty well hit the center, but not carrying with the wind blowing straight in tonight. Back there is Ghost, and he will haul it in. That's it. A couple of ground balls and a fly ball. Burley's out of the first. Rangers will go to the second, trailing 1-0.
Arlington as we head to the second, and as the boys mentioned, Prince Fielder not in the lineup. It's the first time in 547 games in which he will miss, which is not good, obviously, for the Rangers.
That's a big blow. Even though, he wasn't the Prince that we know he was capable of being, but we found out why. But still, when he's in that lineup, it's a presence, and he can make a difference. So we just got to go without him for a couple of days and hope that this shot that he got clears things up. We knew something was wrong, and it's nice to find out that we finally found it out. So in that sense, it puts a smile on your face.
Leave it to watch to find the positive. They hope that Prince Fielder will be back in the lineup on Tuesday, but I don't know about you guys. Uncle on the injuries, just uncle.
Yeah, and aunt.
Watch out for foul balls tonight, Em.
Don't worry. My head's on a swivel.
0-2 pitch. And a hot shot to third, picked nicely by Beltran. Adrian on across the diamond. Navarro is retired, one gone for Steve Tollison. Beltran makes that play look so easy, it's kind of silly. That was a rocket down there. He just, I got it.
I love the way he throws across the diamond.
Could you teach somebody to throw like that?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that's just how he grew up throwing.
Here's Steve Tollison, and if Ranger fans go back in the Wayback Machine a bit, you'll remember Steve's dad, Wayne Tollison, infielder for the Rangers back in the early and mid 80s. Spunky player, kind of like his dad.
Yeah, same thing. I'll say this about the way Beltran throws: if there's ever going to be a player who throws just like him, it's going to be his little boy.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
He's 7, and I'll say in 14 years he'll be playing. 15 years he'll be playing in the big leagues.
Adrian Jr.
If you can ever look at a 7-year-old and project that, it's his boy.
You sound like you're ready to offer him a contract right now.
I tell you what, if there's a way to do it, I would, and I'd feel good about it too.
Yeah. Tie him up long term.
It's so smooth. He's playing catch with his kids.
Yep. I don't know how you throw from there and get the ball to go straight.
Yeah, and throw it as hard as he does.
Yeah. Pulled on the ground, that Elvis will back in. Up and throwing. 2 gone. And speaking of Beltran Jr., how about earlier today, they were out playing before batting practice. There he is, 7-year-old Adrian Jr. Look at this.
That kid's 7 years old. Yeah. Remember that.
Swinging a 34-ounce bat already. Down to one knee. There it is.
I'm glad our guys were out here early catching that. That's priceless.
You say things like, well, that's in the DNA. That is in the DNA, I think. You just saw it there. Smashed to left by Pilar, and he's aboard with a 2-out single.
Well, he probably comes to the games. He watches them on TV. And the one he admires and wants to emulate is obvious. It's his father. And so he tries to do things like his dad does.
Yep.
And there's subtle things that are tough to copy. But that, if you watch, that's one you can copy. Go down to one knee on your swing.
A 1 on, 2 out. Here's the center fielder, Anthony Gose. Check swing on a breaking ball. It's in for a strike. 0-1. Gose at 273. No home runs. A couple driven in. He's taking the place of Colby Rasmus, who's on the 15-day DL. Outside and low. And the count evens. There you go. Senior on the left, junior on the right. Not much of a difference.
No, he's got to lean back just a little bit.
Yeah.
Probably not quite strong enough to do that yet.
That's great. Nice going, guys. That's good stuff. Oh, goodness. The 1-1. Now 2-1 to Gose. Anthony Gose up and down a couple of times already this season. The Blue Jays and their AAA affiliate in Syracuse. Ross ready to work to him. And misses outside. It's 3 balls and a strike. And Gose hitting in the 8th spot, or 9th spot, I should say. If he gets aboard and sends it back to the top of the order, Jose Reyes would be next. Villar at first as Ross checks him. 3-1 pitch on the way. Outside, ball 4. Well, Robbie's had trouble. He's gotten the first 2 outs of each of the first 2 innings pretty easily. Ron Washington going out to have a talk with him. That's one thing that Wash has had to stress with Derek Holland when he'd go out and talk to him about getting the first 2 outs and then having kind of a mental break to where you can't focus on the next couple of hitters and get yourself into trouble after getting 2 quick outs.
You got some guys in the lineup that if you walk them, you say, okay, I had to pitch him carefully. Gose is not one of them.
Yeah.
Gose is batting 9th. He's a left-hand hitter. He's doesn't have power. And that's a guy, I think the first thing you say when you face him is, I'm not walking this guy.
Yep.
Now, he's a big league player. He may get a base hit off you. Man, the last thing you want to do is walk him.
Bill Wash delivered whatever message he decided he had to take out there, and now 2 on and 2 out. Jose Reyes flied to pretty deep left center field his first time. A rip and a miss on the changeup. 0-1.
Well, he's thrown a couple of good curveballs tonight. That's a real good changeup. And it's just a matter of being comfortable enough with those pitches to work them consistently into your repertoire. And as he does that, it'll take the pressure off his fastball.
Right, they come in with a fastball, and the check swing appeal down to Dan Iassogna, and he said no swing. Much to the disgust of the 38 or 39,000 fans here at Globe Life Park.
Pretty close.
A ball and a strike to Reyes. Ross back to the plate. Misses outside and high. It's 2-1. Richard Reyes getting a hitting streak up to 7 games last night before it was snapped. 13 of his 22 hits, better than half of his hits this year, have gone for extra bases. Chops that one foul on the third base side. 2-2. You mentioned that extra base stat because Reyes last year had a devil of a time staying healthy, and when he did, couldn't muster any triples, and he was noted for triples playing over the National League. He finally got his first one in about a year and a half the other day. This one popped up, foul, and it's going to reach the seats on the first base side. Torino's over to take a look, but it's well out of his reach. Still 2-2. Reyes, a long-term New York Met, went to Miami for a year, and of course was in part of that big trade with the Blue Jays and the Marlins. Mark Burley part of that trade. Outside, 3-2. Well, now with 2 outs and a full count, both runners, Villar at second and Gose at first, will be off and moving. And if Reyes is able to keep this going, Melky Cabrera would be next. 45th pitch of the evening coming up. And Robbie Ross was almost set. He decided to step off and redo it. Now the left-hander is ready. Runners on the move. Payoff pitch is chopped foul outside third. We'll come back and try it again. Ron Washington keeping a close eye on his young left-hander. Wash very well aware of, with all the injuries and the young pitchers that are having to work in the starting rotation, the struggles that they have from time to time. Wash is very good at being patient at the right time. Pitch is high, ball 4, and that will load him up for Cabrera. Well, back-to-back 2-out walks after a single. And the bases are full for Cabrera, who grounded out his first time. Well, Ross working himself into some 2-out trouble here in the second. Cabrera, of course, had that big 2-run double last night that was the only damage done in the ballgame. That was in the 8th inning off Yu Darvish. Fouls that first pitch back. It's 0-1. Cabrera upping his RBI total to 19 for the season. His bases full of Blue Jay teammates. 1-0 Toronto. We play in the top of the second inning. Robbie Ross trying to work around some difficulties. Outside and low, 1 ball and 1 strike. And John Tollison very quickly up and throwing that bullpen, and we remarked that, you know, the way that things have been going offensively for the Rangers, Ron Washington really can't afford to let Robbie Ross struggle in the early going and get way behind of a guy like Burley.
That's one thing we haven't seen him do as much as a starter as we did as a reliever, and that's pound the right-hand hitters in with his cut fastball.
Yeah. That when he got in.
Yeah, that's kind of the hallmark of his relief pitching, is just knocking the bat right out of right-hand hitters' hands, but they haven't done it quite as much as a starter.
Now the 1-2. Out of play.
But it's not the first time in the last couple of weeks that we've seen a Ranger starter throw 50 pitches in the first 2 innings.
Yeah.
That's where Robbie is right now, 50 pitches. 40 pitches is a ton of pitches for 2 innings, but 50 is a ton and a half, I guess.
Ross ready again. Another 1-2 pitch. Up the middle, right to Ross, and he stands it out of midair. On to first, and Robbie, a good job of working around a bases-loaded situation. Nothing across, 3 left on board. 1.5 in the books, 1-0 Toronto. Score, and that's thanks to some good pitching by Robbie Ross after he worked himself into a hole in the top of the second, able to work out of a bases loaded 2-out jam. Middle third of the Ranger owner, Adrian Beltre, to face Mark Burley. Beltre bluffing a bunt, and Brett Lowry down at third having no part of it.
I don't think he's buying it.
No. didn't even bother moving in.
Nice try.
Changeup floats to the outer edge. It's a ball and a strike.
No, you never know. There might come a time where a bunt wins your ball game.
Yeah.
I don't know when that would be for Adrian, but you never know.
High, tight fastball. It's 2-1. Well, if that opportunity arose, I think Adrian would probably recognize it and say, no, I'm swinging. Hard to bunt and go down to one knee.
I guess you could bunt it, but it'd be hard to get up and beat it out. Well, we already mentioned it once today, but Eric Kratz, the catcher, batting in the bottom of the lineup last night, I think he surprised everybody with a bunt that led to the winning rally.
It's just off the inside corner, really trying to get one of those comeback fastballs, and not quite enough. The count's full to Beltre. Alex Rios will be next in the order. Burley with the payoff pitch. Chopped out towards short. Reyes waits for the good hop and throws out Beltre by a step and a half. One gone. Alex Rios coming up. Let's welcome in Jim Knox. Jim?
I appreciate it, Buzz. Before the game, the Texas Rangers, of course, honored Michael Young in a great ceremony. What a class act Michael Young is, and a great job for the Texas Rangers. They also made a contribution to the Michael Young Foundation for a grand total of $10,000. And to find out more about this foundation that Michael and his wife Christina started, Wipe Out Kids Cancer, which they began back in 2011, log on to WOKC.org. That's WOKC.org. Buzz?
All right, Jim, thank you. Great organization, great work that Michael and Christina have done over the years and will continue to do. 0-1 pitch on the way to Rios. Pulled into the hole, a base hit. Now speed pitch stayed up, and that was just enough on it to get it into left field for the single. Thought about going for two. Villar had a little trouble getting the ball back in, but Rios hanging on with a one-out single.
Big curveball for Alex on the hole between short and third. Mentioned that Burley's thrown a couple of no-hitters, including one against the Rangers. Don't have to worry about that now. Burley tough to run on. He's got a good pickoff move. Yeah. So even though Alex is an excellent base stealer, Burley's the kind of guy that can neutralize it. What's he do so well, Buzz?
Well, his motion, Tom, is if you were to look at him from first base, his motion when he throws to first or when he throws to the plate look identical to the runner. Nothing changes except what he does with his hands. He gets the ball out quickly and makes a little snap throw to first. A rip and a miss by Moreland. 1-1. Every good left-hander. He reminds me a little bit too of Andy Pettitte, who did the same kind of thing.
Well, since 1974, Andy Pettitte and Mark Burley lead baseball in pickoffs.
Moreland shoots one foul the far end of the Ranger dugout. It's a ball and 2 strikes.
Is it hard for a pitcher to copy someone else's pickoff move?
I don't think so. I think you have to put it in context of what you're comfortable doing, but you can copy some of the things that make a pickoff move effective, like looking the same, adjusting your leg lift so you can do it the same way each time, whether you're throwing to first or throwing to the plate. I developed a pickoff move to third base when I was in high school, and our coach, my high school coach, gave me a tape of Whitey Ford, and I used to watch myself in the mirror and try to pretend I was Whitey Ford.
Wow!
And that's how I got comfortable doing it that way.
I'll tell you what, the first time you used it in high school, you had to nail somebody because there's no way that guy ever saw that coming.
Yeah.
The other coach screamed balk or anything like that?
Oh, yeah, certainly. Everybody's screaming balk. That's okay. Moreland, a swing and a miss as Burley really pulling the string, gets his first strikeout.
Burley tops out probably 84, 85 maybe. A lot like Jamie Moyer. That was 70 miles an hour.
Folks, it's time for you to tweet your photo for a chance to have it shown on our upcoming broadcast. And that's all thanks to the good folks at AT&T. Use hashtag SouthwestFanPhoto, and your photo might be selected to be on one of our upcoming broadcasts. So 2 outs. Robinson Chirinos, the Ranger catcher, up there. And first ball swinging. That is tapped foul. 0-1. Michael Young's going to join us next half inning. We've got to ask him about facing a guy like Burley. I know that he probably won't want to go back to 2007. But I'm going to ask him anyway. Hitters don't like to do that, do they, Tom? Go back and think about guys that just wore them out.
I don't know. I've been one of the major contributors to a couple of no-hitters, so one of them was against you guys.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Jim Colburn.
Yep.
A ball and a strike. And Chirinos cranks one, but pulls it foul down the left field line. Plenty of distance, just a little extra hook. There's Michael. He's not talking yet. He's thinking about that Burley thing. How can I make this sound good? I really hit the ball hard 4 times and it was right at somebody. One of those deals. One and 2 as Burley sets. They've got Rios. Rios going on first move to throw, and they got it. Rios caught on the Burley move, and Burley got the the right pitch to throw over there. So that'll do it for the Rangers. No runs, a hit, and nobody left. We're going to the third inning. 1-0 Toronto on Fox Sports Southwest. Well, you see him there. Now you see him in the flesh. Michael Young joining us. Michael, thanks very much for coming up.
Happy to be here, Buzz. Thank you.
Tremendous night for you. That had to hit a pretty good spot in your heart, didn't it? To have all those folks.
It really did. Having my family here and having a lot of former teammates here and the staff that I was with, and of course all these fans, and that video tribute was pretty incredible. I really loved that.
I said there wasn't a dry eye in the house. Mine wasn't dry. I don't know how yours could possibly be. I know Christina was having a little trouble keeping it up. That's great.
She broke down, and then, like Tex said, my 4-year-old was starting to shed some tears. That's not what I wanted to see. I'd have followed him pretty quickly. But that was great. I mean, the team did an incredible job with that.
Well, it's very well deserved. I don't think they could do enough to show you how much thanks that not only the organization but the whole community owes you.
Thank you.
What you and Christina do and what you've done over the years has been tremendous.
Thank you. It's really been our pleasure. We love living here.
Mike, when you're out at the ballpark, do you find yourself missing it at all, or have you gotten beyond that?
No, I definitely miss it still, but I mean, not in a way where I'm dying to come back or anything, but I miss the competition. I think one thing that the three of us know is that when you watch it out here, it seems like Cracker Jackson fun. When you get between the lines, even though it's right there, it's not very far away. It's a whole different level of intensity down there that you really can't get in the crowd unless it's in the postseason.
Right.
And that's the part I do miss. I miss the competition.
That's so true. And Buzz and I recognize it. We've played. We have a pretty good idea what's going on. But when you're up here, it's an entirely different thing than being in the dugout.
Yeah, no doubt.
You just don't really know unless you're in the dugout.
It's absolutely true. It's just a different level of intensity that you can't really appreciate until you're down there right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
But that part was fun.
I got to ask you a question about the way the ball club's going right now, and Lord knows they've had an opportunity if they wanted to feel sorry for themselves with all the injuries and everything else that's gone wrong. Do you ever get the feeling that, gee, I wish I was down there and I could say something or do something to turn around how those guys must be feeling?
No, not really. I think about what would happen if I was on a team like that and it's been snake bitten by so many injuries. But having said that, I mean, our teams were different. We had a different group of guys. Matter of fact, it was easy for me to single out the guys I played with because there was only 7 of them that we had our runs with over there, at least our championship runs. So it was a different group of guys. Like I said, this team just have a lot of veteran talent though, so they'll find a way to pull through.
Encarnacion skies out to center field. That's out number 1. Bautista still at first. Take a look at the Ford leaderboard. And tonight, look at from 2003, our Ford leaderboard. 11 years. And the hit leaders in Major League Baseball. How about Michael Young being second to Ichiro? 2,129 hits in those 11 years. And Ichiro about 160 ahead of him. That is saying
he's about 700 behind in line drives.
Yeah, we go on distance. There's no comparison. That's a pretty impressive list. Albert Pujols down there at the bottom of the top 5.
Yeah, those two guys that are right behind us are probably the two most talented players of the era that I played in, with Pujols and Miguel Cabrera. Just a pleasure to watch. With the exception of Pujols going deep 3 times in a World Series game.
That's right.
That's a bit of a bad memory, but 2 insanely talented guys.
Oh, 2. The count to Brett Lawrie. Jose Bautista, the runner at first. 1 out here in the top of the 3rd inning. Fouled off.
You probably don't remember this, Michael, but when you first joined the Rangers, we were in Toronto. And you guys were stretching, and I happened to be down on the field, and you walked by and you said, "Man, I'm falling for every practical joke they're pulling on me. I can't get enough bait."
Yeah.
What are your fondest memories as you look back on your career with the Rangers? I know the World Series teams.
Yeah, the winning is, those champagne celebrations are special. Those are the ones that rank high on the list. But just the small stuff, the chess match competition that you have. For example, we're facing Mark Burley tonight, who just killed me during my career. But I loved facing them. It was a challenge for me. Those are the things that, as a hitter, you'd love to be a part of. But yeah, those are the things I miss. I miss the guys, obviously. The flights and the restaurants and the times we bonded as teammates. But just the good old-fashioned competition of big league plays was incredible. It's really special up here.
Yeah, I'm not sure you ever get that out of your system.
Right.
That competition. It just, Tom and I talk about that quite a bit. That's the one thing that we still miss.
Yeah.
That's the 2nd out. Yonder Navarro. And take a look at some of the things that Michael Young accomplished in his great career. 11 seasons with the Rangers. Came up in 2002. 7-time All-Star at 3 different positions. 6 seasons, at least 200 hits. And he had the batting title in 2005, MVP of the All-Star game in Pittsburgh in 2006. Boy, you're going to have a full mantle in about 4 different rooms. Holy cow, that's great.
Thank you.
And believe me, it was fun for us to watch, too. As much fun as it was for you to accomplish those things, it's been great watching that over the years.
Thank you, boys. You know what? It meant a lot to me to have, when you two guys are here because you both played. And, I'd see you guys, whether on a road trip or down there in BP, and just to get a chance to talk ball with you guys was a lot of fun because you guys have a different angle than I had. And, I always enjoy the conversations.
Thank you.
We appreciate that.
Thank you.
We really do. 1-1 pitch to Navarro, a check swing, and it's back to the screen. I noticed you brought the Mr. Ranger thing up to my partner over here. That was nice of you.
Yeah. I got a special place in my heart for Tom. We've known each other a long time, and we've had a lot of great conversations over the years. And he's a good friend. And matter of fact, if we play golf on a weekend and he takes my money, I won't consider him to be a good friend. But
if I take your money, you better hit the practice range. If I take your money,
that'll do it. Michael, thanks very much for joining us. We really enjoyed the evening. Congratulations on everything.
You got it, man.
Don't be a stranger.
I won't. You got it.
1-0 Toronto. Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. 1-0 Blue Jay lead. We head to the bottom of the third inning. The bottom third of the Ranger order to face Mark Burley, Robinson Chirinos, Leonis Martin, and Luis Sardinas, the first three hitters. First pitch to Chirinos is on the outside corner. Robinson was left standing at home plate when Alex Rios was caught trying to swipe second. Got picked off by Burley. Little cue shot off the end of the bat, rolling out.
That thing spin.
Wow.
It almost spun right by him.
Steve Tollison having to come in and adjust about 5 feet to his left on the way to that ball.
You can see him smiling. He's actually probably happy he caught that ball the way it was going left to right. It looked like a simple play, but the spin made it a little bit tricky. Watch how the ball starts to the left and is curving to the right. He has to reach all the way back to his left to catch that ball.
Like one of those Massey shots on the pool table. Oh, one away. And Leonis Martin at the plate now, a 279 hitter. Burley misses high for ball one. 2 home runs, 14 driven in for the Ranger center fielder.
I like this stat that they had in their notes, Buzz. He's the second pitcher ever, and the other one is Cy Young. 13 or more years, 200 innings or more, and less than 61 walks. I don't know how they ever came up with that one. But we mentioned he's never missed a start, never been on the disabled list, obviously. 13 straight years of more than 200 innings.
Yep.
And he's always had impeccable control. 61 walks would have been a lot of walks for him. He's been good against the Rangers, too. 13-5 against the Rangers.
And he misses inside to Martin, and there's a one-out walk.
Talking right into a walk.
The Jinx. Luis Sardinas coming up. Let's take time for a Mazda game break with John Radigan. John? All right, John, thank you. The Rangers trying to at least even this game up. They're trailing 1-0 with Martin and good speed at first. Luis Sardinas takes high and outside. Luis 2 for 7. This is his second tour of duty this year with the Rangers. Checking with Gary Pettis down there at third to see if Ron Washington might maybe get something going here with Martin at first and good speed. Pitch outside. It's 2-0. Now Burley all of a sudden losing command of the strike zone. For him, it's terrible. Most people, you wouldn't worry about it too much. A walk and then a 2-0 count. Left-hander sets a check of first. He misses high and inside. It's 3 balls and no strikes. Well, Louis just standing there with the bat on his shoulder. He's watched 3 of them go by, and he's ahead in the count. Second youngest player to appear in the major leagues this year, John Gibbons. Might be thinking he's seeing a mirage. Burley back-to-back hitters with this kind of problem. 3-1 now.
He fired a fastball in there at 83 miles an hour on the 3-0 pitch.
Our steel tracker showing you that Burley all around the edges until that 4th pitch. The 3-1 up the middle into center field, a base hit. Our team will check in at second. Bush gets the ball back in, and so a walk and a single. 2 aboard with 1 out. The top of the order now with Michael Choice. Look at the pitchers with Tommy John surgery. This is just since this spring training. There's 17 of them, I believe it is.
Yeah, there's some frontline guys there. Fernandez, Corbin, Parker, Griffin, Moore, Nova.
Yeah.
Man, Martin Perez, top minor league prospects.
And Mark Burley hasn't missed a start.
He hasn't missed a start.
13 years. That's pretty remarkable.
He's had,
go ahead.
I was going to say he's only had 1 bad start. That was against the Red Sox. He gave up 6 runs. Other than that, he hasn't given up more than 2 earned runs in a game in his 6 other starts.
The Rangers here in the third trying to make him pay for a little bit of lapse of control with a walk and a base hit.
You mentioned that Burley's 13-5 against the Rangers with a 3.10 ERA, but there was a start here where the Rangers just lit him up, and that's when he accused the Rangers of stealing signs from the office building.
That's right. Base hit to left field for Choice. Leonis Martin coming home to score, and Choice with a base hit to left field ties this ball game at 1 apiece. Michael Choice really waited on that off-speed pitch very well and banked it through the hole. Leonis Martin scoring the tying run.
I think we found the key here in the 3rd inning, Buzz. You and I just have to keep praising him to the point where we jinxed him. 3 straight base runners.
Yeah. Well, Michael Choice drives in his 14th run of the year.
Well, he got a pretty good pitch to hit. The breaking ball stays up far enough for him to wait on it and drive it into left field.
Now here's Elvis. Runners at first and second. And this is not a very comfortable spot as you look at Michael Choice again getting that breaking ball to hit. Rammed it right on through the hole. Elvis Andrus, with runners in scoring position, is 0 for his last 26 times at the plate. Wow. And for the entire season, he's 1 for 29. It's almost inconceivable that that would happen to a guy like Elvis, who puts the ball in play so often. There's a strike, and it's 2-1. But he's got some teammates out there. Sardinas at second. Michael Choice at first. Last 7 games overall, a .367 average for the Rangers shortstop. Chopper to third, cut off to second for 1. Return to first in time for the double play.
Elvis says he's safe. Wants Wash to come out and check on it.
And they're going to hold the Blue Jays on the field while a possible challenge on this as Wash heads over to first base to talk with the first base umpire, Dan Iasonia.
Well, if he is safe, he's safe because Lowry attempted to tag the runner. And it took him a little bit of time to deliver the ball. Whoa. What do you think?
Well, remember, the call on the field is safe. I mean, now.
I think he's safe.
Sure looked like it on that one. That might be one of those deals where it's too close to overturn. Hard to tell, but Rod Washington is talking with Iasonia, and they're looking across the field now to see what, not really sure what that's about. Crew chief is home plate umpire Dale Scott, and they're walking down the line now toward Dale Scott. Here's another look at that.
I think it's safe. But again, last night I thought the same thing, that there wasn't enough conclusive evidence to overturn it, and that was wrong. So is there enough conclusive evidence to overturn this? We'll find out. I thought he was safe.
Nope. Rangers are headed out to the field.
I guess they decided he was out.
Well, that will do it for the bottom of the 3rd inning. We'll head to the 4th. Rangers come back and tie it up. It's 1-1. Robbie Ross goes to work in the top of the fourth inning. Misses high and outside. The first pitch to Steve Tollison. A 1-1 ball game. Rangers able to come back and tie it on a Michael Choice base hit. Tollison, a one-hop smash to short. Picked neatly by Elvis, who fires on to first. One out.
Well, just as smooth as Adrian on that one. It's fun watching them both do that.
No, 108. Let's go over to Jim Knox. Jim?
I appreciate it, Buzz. This was the scene before this game. Fox Sports Fan Express rolling in from the great city of Austin, Texas. On board plenty of big-time Ranger fans, courtesy of 104.9, The Horn. Also have the Fox Sports Southwest girls, Cammy and Liddy, on hand. You guys having a good time?
Always.
And we had a anniversary today.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Today, Mandeep.
I'm Carly.
All right, congratulations. Happy anniversary. Good to have everybody here from Austin. Truth the Rangers on to victory, all right? Right, girls? Right?
Go Rangers!
Buzz.
All right, Knoxie. One out. Kevin Pillar is the hitter. Base is empty. 0-2 the count. Pillar, a base hit to left. His first time to the plate. Ross back to him. Robbie missing outside. And the count is 1-2. Pillar, Southern California native. Chops this one foul. Pillar at AAA Buffalo. 305 the average, a home run, 19 driven in. 1-2 pitch from Ross. We'll try it again as that ball out of play down the right side. Pillar, originally the 32nd round pick by the Blue Jays back in 2011. Another foul ball to the right. Well, everything even at one. 1 run for each ball club, 3 hits for each ball club. Robbie Ross settling down nicely after a couple of rocky first 2 innings. But able to right the ship. He got out of a bases loaded 2-out jam in the second. Since then has not been in any hot water.
Yeah, that was the biggest out Melky Cabrera because his pitch count was over 50 and the bases were loaded. He was on the verge right there. The bullpen was working, but he pitched out of it. Now hopefully he'll be able to settle down. So far, so good. There you go.
Chopper up the middle near the bag. Elvis has it on the first, 2 out. A lot of ground balls. And
several weak ones.
Yep. That's what you like to see from Robbie Ross. Well, folks, tomorrow the Rangers finish up this series with the Blue Jays. It's a 2:05 game, and the first 15,000 fans will get a Prince Fielder bobblehead. That's courtesy of Medical Center Arlington. Don't miss the chance to get a great keepsake, a Prince Fielder bobblehead. Great seats are still available. Just go to TexasRangers.com and reserve yours. First ball swinging, Anthony Ghost chops out to Mitch Moreland. Very quick 1-2-3 innings for Robbie Ross, his first of the night. 3.5 in the books, 1-1 the score. Ranger fans looking for a Ranger explosion against Mark Burley. And a little nachos to go along with that explosion, too, please. Part of the Burchett clan out here tonight. Nice to see them.
They're on their best behavior. They know their father's going to capture them tonight at some point in time.
Yeah, they're behaving like their mother taught them to.
Yeah.
Very nice. Shin-Soo Choo, the number 3 hitter in the Ranger order this evening, takes strike 1 from Burley. Choo, a fly ball to center field back in the first inning. And he gets fisted, fights it off foul, and back into the seats down the left side, right over the tarp into the third row. Rangers got to Burley, who allowed 3 consecutive base runners in the third inning, a walk and a pair of singles. The second single by Michael Choice driving in the tying run. 0-2 pitch, just off the outside corner. A ball and 2 strikes. Shin-Soo down to 302 with his average. He's seen 375 against left-handers this year. Check swing, he went around. And Burley gets strikeout number 2. That's how the Ranger fourth begins.
Third baseman.
And let's head down to Emily Jones, who has a special guest.
Well, guys, one of the many icons on tap tonight to honor Michael Young is Dirk Nowitzki of the Dallas Mavericks. Dirk, I guess you sports icons have got to stick together?
Yeah, you know, in Dallas, the sports teams are really close, and teams support each other. And, you know, a lot of Cowboys players, Rangers players, and Stars players come to our games. And so I just wanted to show respect to one of the greatest. Michael is a good friend of mine over the years, and always admired how he approached the sport and how he was professional and always played and, you know, hurt, sick. And so I think there's a lot of similarities between my career and his, so I was a huge fan always.
When you look at this era of sports icons, you're kind of one of the last ones standing. You gonna keep at it for a while longer? You
know, I'm gonna keep plugging it along a couple more years. Yeah, you know, the year before with a knee injury was the first one where I'm like, this is tough now. This year I felt a lot better, and we went back to the playoffs. So it was a fun year for me. So I think I can play a couple more years at a high level, but. You know, I really started thinking about when I saw Lodano's retirement jersey a month ago or so, and I kind of look at my head and I'm like, oh, it's getting there. You're getting closer. So you start thinking about stuff like that more and more. But both ceremonies for Mikey, Mo, and this one today were fantastic. So I'm happy for those guys. Michael,
left the game because he wanted to spend more time with his family, his 3 young children. You have a new baby, I guess not even so new anymore, almost a year old. How's fatherhood treating you?
It's been great. You know, at the beginning, you're kind of like, you know, you don't really know what to do with her. I mean, she's so little and she can't really do much, but now it's so much fun and trying to walk around and, you know, developing a little personality and smiling. And so it's been great. So I'm really enjoying it, and I think I'm doing well. I'm changing diapers, I'm doing everything, so it's been fun.
Nice. Okay, one more question. Obviously, Rangers are dropping like flies lately, the injuries. What's your first to third like?
Struggling.
Struggling?
You can see, you know, we're doing the baseball game again June 21st, if you want to really see for the charity. We got
skills on display?
Yeah, so I'm really bad. But it's a fun sport. But I feel bad for the boys. I mean, they had a good team coming in, and now it's just so many injuries. But, you know, in a baseball season, there's so many games, so you just keep on plugging along and, you know, get hot hopefully at the right time and make a run late.
And then finally, Dirk, if you were forced into action and had to play one position, what would it be?
Probably the bat boy. Get the bat and come back. But, I mean, I can catch a little bit, I guess. But,
catcher.
I mean, sitting in like the stands, my knees would explode. Maybe hide me somewhere in the outfield, way back there. Yeah, that's
maybe
about
a bench player.
Yes, perhaps.
Dirk, thanks for the time as always. We appreciate it.
Great.
Guys, we'll send it back up to you.
I'm sorry, there's no place you can hide Dirk on the field.
Hey, there's only
Hard
one
to
position
hide,
he could
Dirk.
play. He's a first baseman. Couldn't throw it over his head. It'd be perfect over there.
3-2 pitch. And Rios gets fisted right back to Burley. The left-hander throws him out. A 1-2-3 inning. Rangers are gone. We have finished 4. Rangers 1, Blue Jays 1 on Fox Sports Southwest. Are teaming up to send you on a VIP flyaway experience with your home team in LA. Text VIP to 638761 for your chance to be treated with VIP status. Fans would love that. They would also love to see the VIP we have in the booth now. Coach Mark McLemore, co-host of Rangers Live before and after ball games. Nice for you to come by, Matt. Good to see you.
It's good to be here. I hear this has been like a revolving chair tonight, huh?
Well, we've had some important people up here. You're just the latest in that string.
Man, I think I'm in the wrong place then.
We just had Michael Young up, and what a great evening it was. That kind of does my heart good to see him honored like that, and see the turnout to honor him here.
Very well deserved. Mike is one of those rare players that is respected not only for what he does on the field, but off the field as well. Just, that's the epitome of a professional. Comes to the ballpark every day, ready to play. And, not to play for himself and his numbers, but he went out there and played for his teammates. And you just have to love a guy like that. And I just wish he had been one of my teammates.
Yeah. I think you would have gotten along really well with him. You're the same kind of people, and I thought Vernon Wells hit it right on the head about Michael. He said the greatest thing he can do is get respect from his peers. And Michael has that universal respect from his peers, as do guys like you and Vernon, because of the people you are, both on and off the field. And that's important.
It is. There's no question about it. He is that guy. And, I told him this, I guess the first time many years ago, that he's a guy that could play on my team because he just came to play every day. It didn't matter how he was feeling, what was going on. He came to play, and he left it on the field each and every day. And he's one of those rare guys that at the end of his career could look back and say, hey, I gave it everything I had every single day.
The other thing I like, we're gonna take a look at our Coors Light Cold Hard Fact tonight, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Michael Young, 155 or more games in 10 different seasons. He was never on the disabled list in his career.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, and we're talking about guys who are on the disabled list twice a month, it seems like now.
And you look at the positions he played: second base, shortstop, third base, first base. Just a versatile player, number one. But to play that many positions for that many years and never go on the disabled list, I mean, especially in the middle infield where you've got guys coming in there trying to take you out 2 and 3 times a night, every single day, 155 games a year for him, 10 years, at different seasons. It's incredible.
He probably played over the years several times with injuries that would have put people on the disabled list. I mean, one time he had, 2 sprained wrists?
Yeah,
2 broken knuckles or something?
Broken fingers.
Yeah.
I know he had a broken finger on each hand at one time.
Yeah, that would have put most people on the disabled list.
think. Oh, my finger's a little sore.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm on the DL for 30 days.
Yeah.
Sean Tollison up and throwing in the Ranger bullpen. The other thing I liked about what Michael had said was Ron Washington made it clear to Michael early that he expected Michael to make the people around him better. And to me, that's the definition of a superstar, is a guy that can do that and is willing to do that.
Absolutely. He's not a selfish player, wasn't a selfish player. And I think people, kind of get that confused a little bit when you have a manager that says, hey, I expect you to make other people better. Well, how do you make them better? The way Michael Young makes them better is he goes out there no matter what.
Yep.
And, he's got a couple broken fingers on one hand. He taped them up and went out there and played. So how is anybody else in that clubhouse going to say, hey, oh, my shoulder's a little sore, or I got, a little slight this or that, and not take the field when Mike was going out there with broken fingers. So that's how you make the rest of your teammates better each and every day.
Yeah, and some guys lead by example, some guys lead vocally, and some guys are a combination. Michael was very much by example, like you're talking about, man.
Yeah, there's no question. He wasn't that big rah-rah guy.
Right.
I mean, he definitely played with intensity, there's no question, but, you weren't going to catch him running up and down the dugout, jumping up and down, screaming and hollering, and, that leadership role for him when, there was a younger guy or anybody that needed, a little pat on the back or even, a kick somewhere. He was that guy. He'd go behind closed doors and do it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I got a feeling a lot of that went on when no one else saw it.
Absolutely.
You don't see it, like you say, you didn't see it on the bench, but in the dugout occasionally, in the clubhouse occasionally, I bet you there were some conversations.
I mean, no question. In the clubhouse, on the plane ride, on the bus, dinner, somewhere, he made it known to whoever needed it. Hey, we're here. Just keep going out there doing what you're doing. Things will be fine.
I know Ian Kinsler said a couple of times that I can remember anyway that Michael was the one that kind of drove him to get extra work in when he didn't really want to. He said Michael was going in there. I felt I had to just to keep up with it. Yeah, that's a good point. It's you do what you have to do to make yourself a better player, and Michael facilitated that. Chopper slowly hit to first. Moreland has just one play. That's a step on the bag, and Reyes down to second. He's now in scoring position with one out for Jose Bautista.
Bautista's hit the ball hard both times up. Had a fairly long home run to left field, and then the hardest hit ball was the line drive he hit to left field.
And he's not going to face Robbie Ross, as Ron Washington is going to go to the right-hander. So Ross up at 91 pitches through 4 1/3. And he is going to come out of the ball game. Sean Thomas is going to be summoned from the right center field bullpen of the Rangers. Robbie gets a nice round of applause as he leaves. Thomason coming on. We'll take a timeout. Back after this on Fox Sports Southwest. Chevy Hometown Kids every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock right here on Fox Sports Southwest, where it's not about the score, it's about the experience. the family of one of our great photographers out here, cameraman Jeff Irwin. His family out watching tonight's ball game and out to honor Michael Young. Sean Tollison has entered the ball game with Jose Reyes at second and 1 out here in the 5th inning.
Yeah, Sean's pitched well his last couple of times out. 4 strikeouts, 4 shutout innings. Got a tough part of the order right here. Bautista and Encarnacion hitting back to back. Good pitches to these guys.
Bautista tonight 2 for 2. A solo home run in the first and a single in the 3rd inning. Off the glove of Chirinos, and that will get Reyes down to 3rd. That ball looked like it sailed on Tollison and Chirinos. Robinson not expecting it to go quite that far outside, and that was going to be a pass ball. I don't know if that moved more than he thought it was going to, or if he lost sight of it for a second.
It looked like he lost it a little bit there right at the end.
Now the Ranger infield now pulled all the way in with Bautista up there. The pitch high and away. It's 2-0. The home run in the first inning, by the way, for Bautista is the 11th home run of the year. Also his 179th in his Blue Jay career. And that puts him in 5th place all time on the Blue Jays list. They've had some home run hitters. Outside, a check swing. The count goes to 3-0. Pass ball off the, I wonder if he didn't get his glove up in front of his eyes, between his eyes and the ball. Sometimes that can happen. They're going to intentionally walk Bautista now after falling behind. You ever had that happen to you, Mac, where you're going out trying to catch a pop fly and you get your glove up in front of your eye for just a second and lose the ball?
No, because I really, at an early age, figured out, okay, you don't want to put the ball in front of your eye, the glove in front of your eyes. So I always tried to catch it with one hand right next to my head.
Yeah.
And I made a habit out of that.
You know when I had that happen? I was catching the first pitch from Eric Nadel, and he threw it like right straight over my head, and I put my glove up right over my eyes, and I went, I'm going to miss the first pitch. And somehow that thing went right in my glove. I was the luckiest guy in the field.
You were all set for the pass ball.
Yeah, that 40-mile-an-hour pitch could have skipped right off the top of my glove. Eric has no idea why we're showing him right now.
The runners at the corners, and Encarnacion takes low for ball 1. That might have been the first pass ball in the history of first pitches. You've missed that. Encarnacion 0 for 1 tonight. A fly ball, and he walked in the first inning.
Eric had some pretty good heat that day, too.
Must have. 40.
Well, maybe 44. The other guy I caught the first pitch for one day was Bert Blyleven when he threw out the first pitch.
Wow.
And he stepped up in front of the rubber, and he told me he was going to throw me a curveball to make me miss it. And he threw it about 80 miles an hour and handcuffed me. But somehow he threw it right at my belt, so I couldn't help but catch it. And I've retired from catching the first pitch, I'll tell you that. I'm never doing it again.
Well, with Bert, it probably was easier to catch something than it was to hit it, though, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I can definitely attest to it. It was easier to catch it than hit it.
As far as I'm concerned, the best hook I've ever seen.
Yeah. I mean, he went to the Hall of Fame with 2 pitches, a fastball, a 4-seam fastball, and a curveball. That was it.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm glad you saw it. I still haven't seen it. I see him wind up, and the next thing you know, the umpire's calling a strike.
Yeah, we faced him one day, and Jim Fregosi and I both had to play for some reason, right-hand hitters. And he said to me, you got to narrow it down to one pitch. Look for one pitch, the fastball or the curveball. So I said, well, I know I can't hit his curveball, so I'm going to look for the fastball. And he said just the opposite. I can't hit his fastball, so I'm going to look for his curveball. He wanted something slower. I doubt that either one of us had much success against him, though. He threw hard, too.
Yeah, he did.
That wasn't like 88 miles. It was when, by the time he was done, 20 years later. But when he was young, boy, it wasn't a radar gun, but I'm guessing it was right up there in the mid-90s.
Towering fly ball. This could be interesting. The wind's going to bring it back toward the infield. Reyes tagging. He's coming home. Here's the throw. It's on the middle. Shooting down Jose Reyes.
The Blue Jays haven't seen that one this year.
And that's their fastest runner there.
Yeah, Reyes can't believe that.
Leonis Martin getting it done again. He keeps this ball game tied. We'll head to the bottom of the fifth, 1-1.
Wow.
Center field. It's still a tie ball game at 1. Mitch Moreland trying to bunt his way aboard. Nice play by Burley to get off the mound, and the 35-year-old veteran had no problem as Mitch tried to lead off the 5th inning with a bunt base hit. He is 0 for 2. Well, our Jimmy John's freaky fast delivery, and here it is. Special delivery, courtesy of Leonis Martin, right on the money. And Jose Reyes, a dead Blue Jay.
It's one thing if you throw the catcher out from center field, but when you throw out a guy that can really run the bases, that's just remarkable.
And it was not bang bang.
No.
Well, Robinson Chirinos, who was the recipient of that one-hop toss, up there now. And the first pitch to him is in for strike 1. Chirinos a ground out, and there's the other part of that double play, the instigator. The line drive to left. Starting back now, coming on, Kevin Pillar, and he makes the catch. We're out number 2. Now, before Leonis comes up, let's take time for a Mazda game break with John Radigan. John? All right, John, thank you. Boy, Oakland on fire of late. He's won 7 of their last 10, looking to make it another one tonight. 1-0 the count to Leonis Martin, who walked and scored the only Ranger run of the night. He yanks that foul into the second deck down the right side. You get a pretty good look now. You got the runner, you got Martin catching the ball.
Looks like a pitch. Wow.
Burley probably wishes he could throw one that hard.
Well,
going by him.
That'd be in his dreams. Now, that basically like hitting a home run. It's the same thing. Put one on the board or take one off the board.
Right.
Might be better than a home run because they still would have been up.
In the dirt. The count evens now to Leonis. 2-2. Burley had 72 pitches for the evening. Back to the plate and off the plate outside. A full count. So Martin trying to get on for the second straight time. Luis Sardinas, the number 9 hitter, will follow. Payoff pitch on the way. Come back and try it again.
Burley's hit half the guys off the end of the bat and the other half off the handle. Not many guys are getting it on the good part of the bat.
Another 3-2. There's a base hit to right field. Martin aboard for the second straight time. A walk, now a single. And we'll see if he puts his running gear on. Burley, as you remember, picked off Alex Rios earlier in the game, back in the second. But you got to be careful.
Mac, if you're trying to run against Burley, do you try to read his delivery or do you just go on first move? How would you approach it?
I'm going on first move. And Alex did the same thing, and what you try to do is you just try to beat the throw to second base. And when you go first move, 3 things have to happen in order for them to get you at second base. Number one, that pitcher's got to come over to first base quick when he sees you going. You can't just lollygag it over there. Second, that first baseman has to come off the bag and get the ball to cut down that distance. And then he has to throw a strike to second base. And that's the only reason they were able to get Rios. Those 3 things happen. And if one of those things doesn't happen, that runner's safe.
And if you get lucky and guess on a pitch to the plate, you got a great jump, right?
Oh, if you're a base stealer and that left-handed pitcher goes to the plate, you should never get thrown out. You should never get thrown out.
If you're going on first move.
If you're going on first move.
It's a pretty good move that time by Burley.
And he has a good one, and that's one of the reasons he picks so many guys off.
Now, Tom and I were talking about, I was trying to remember about both he and Pettit. Do they look, a guy with a good pickoff move, a left-hander like this, as a base runner, does it look the same to you? We'll catch that another time. Burley is going to get out of the inning as Sardinas out on 1 pitch. Mac, thanks for joining us. Right. We appreciate it.
You got it.
We'll leave it tied just like you found us.
I'll take it.
All right, on to the 6th inning. 1-1 the score. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Take the EcoBoost Challenge to see why Ford is the best in Texas. A nice crowd, a very comfortable evening. Temperatures in the upper 70s out here at Globe Life Park. John Tolleson back to work now in the 6th inning. He fires a strike to Brett Lowry. Lowry, Navarro, and Tolleson to face Tolleson. John came on and had an intentional walk, then got the double play triggered by the fly ball to Leonis Martin. Lowry struck out both times that he faced Robbie Ross Jr. tonight. Book on Robbie Ross, 4 1/3, 3 hits, just the one earned run, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. Rip and a miss. It's 1-2. Lowry, a .234 hitter is Tolleson. with a high set, comes back to the plate. Got him swinging, went up the ladder.
He tied him up.
First strikeout for the 26-year-old Sean Tolleson.
He's trying to get it up. He missed one a little bit earlier. And he got that one up and a little bit more inside. Made it almost impossible for him to hit that if he swung at it. 3 strikeouts for Lowry tonight.
He's got the hat trick, and one more at bat, he might get the golden sombrero. Here's Deanna Navarro. Switch hitting catcher will turn around to hit from the left side against Tolleson. Fouls off that first fastball. It's 0-1. Aaron Pareda, big, tall left-hander, throwing to the Ranger bullpen. Navarro, a couple of ground outs. One to second, once to third.
I don't remember Sean throwing all these cut fastballs. Has he thrown that every time?
A little bit, but it looks like it's moving a lot more tonight.
Yeah, it's more noticeable. 89 to 91 miles an hour. It's the one that Robinson missed that went back to the screen. Was a cutter. More of a four-seam fastball, it looked like, at 93 miles an hour. I thought he threw more of a slider at the time, most of the time, but maybe not.
Yeah, it could be one of those nights where the ball is just moving more for you. You have nights like that where you almost have to back off and say, where in the world did that come from? I've never thrown that before.
Yeah, it's got a little more velocity than his slider would have.
Yep. Tolleson heading the count, 1-2. Back he comes. Ground ball pulled to Portland. He will take it to the bag himself. And Navarro taking some time getting down to first. An easy out. 2 gone. And Steve Tolleson coming up.
Yeah, good pitch right there from Sean. He took something off of it, threw him a changeup. Had Navarro way out in front of it. Mentioned that Sean, his last couple of times, has pitched a couple of innings each time, struck out 4. See Robinson tell him, keep it down, keep it down. Might have been even a little higher than he wanted it, but it worked out very well for him.
But Steve Tolleson twice has grounded out to Elvis Andrus. First pitch to him is outside for ball 1. Tolleson, a .280 hitter, as he stands at the plate here in the 6th inning. A 1-1 ball game. Fastball is just a little bit low, and it's 2-0. Rangers trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. They have lost 5 in a row against the Blue Jays in this ballpark. Ball 3 is high. Sean Tolleson in danger of losing Steve Tolleson, the number 7 hitter. Kevin Pillar is waiting in the on-deck circle. It's the Tolleson versus Tolleson. It's a family feud we're having here tonight. Outside and low, ball 4. The first walk. Make that the second walk. First unintentional walk. Issued by Sean Tolleson. Robinson Chirinos out to have a chat with him. The 1-on-2 out. Kevin Pillar will be the hitter. Pillar 1 for 2. Had a single back in the 2nd inning. Got as far as third base. That was the inning that Robbie Ross followed that single up with a couple of walks with 2 outs and was able to get the ground ball right back to him by Cabrera to avert any further damage. Toss to first, and Steve Tolleson diving back in. Sean Tolleson, the Allen, Texas native. Baylor X. Ready for the first pitch. And a rip and a miss by Pillar. 0-1. Blue Jays coming into play tonight, trailing the Baltimore Orioles in the AL East by a 1.5 games. They're in third place. Tolleson, a high set. Now back to the plate he comes, and time was called. just before the delivery. John Donaldson not extremely thrilled with the timing of that time call. 0-1 the count. Right-hander will set again, checking first. And the pitch right on the outside corner. It's 0-2. Donaldson peering in for the signs as Robinson Chirinos flashes out a couple of them. Now the right-hander ready, the 0-2 pitch. Just missed the outside corner. That cutter again, that one really darting.
Yeah. Great pitch. 89 miles an hour.
It's like Chirinos wants a toss over the first. And he gets it. You see the catcher when he's flashing the signs out, he'll flick his thumb out. That's when he wants the pitcher to make a throw over to first. That gives the catcher a free rein to watch what the runner's doing out of the corner of his eye. He doesn't have to wait for the pitch. Got him on the fist, and that pitch fouled back by Pilar.
Guess you better hope the pitcher gets the sign while you're watching first base.
If he doesn't,
the umpire's in trouble.
Yep.
If it's a high fastball.
It's either going to be a wild pitcher who's going to knock the umpire down, one of the two. Donaldson again set. And a little tapper out in front of the plate. Nice play by Chirinos to throw out. Robinson bouncing out to throw out Pilar. Side retired. No runs, no hits, one left. And it's a 1-1 ball game. Well, our television production family lost a longtime member yesterday with the passing of Carol Van Norman. As a graphics operator, Carol spent many years in the Dallas-Fort Worth market before moving on to a successful career working nationally. Her zest for life and kind heart will always be remembered by those fortunate enough to have worked with her. Our thoughts and prayers go out to her family. Slam inning brought to you by Sonic. Tonight's jackpot is worth $400 and dinner for two at Sonic Drive-In. Tonight the Rangers are hitting for Mary Ann Hart from Fort Worth. And if a Ranger gets a grand slam this inning, Mary Ann Hart from Fort Worth will win $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant. Michael Joyce, the top of the order, to face Mark Burley here in the sixth inning. Joyce fouling that 2-0 pitch back. It is 2-1. Michael drove in the only run of the game for the Rangers with a single in the third inning. His 14th RBI of the year. Not a bad guy to have up in your Sonic Slam inning. 2-2. Although Burley, not the guy that you would expect to give up home runs. He's only given up one so far this year. Much better year in that regard than he had last year. He'd given up 11 by this time last year. Call strike 3. Michael Choice caught looking. Burley at the inside corner right at the knees for the strikeout. Now with one out, how about the AT&T Universe rewind? Back in the first inning, Jose Bautista. 2-out home run off of Robbie Ross. And then Michael Choice got a bit of a hanging breaking ball and pounded it through the hole to left field with Leonis Martin carrying the mail home for the Rangers. That has been it. So one away here in the sixth, and Elvis comes up. Andrus has grounded out twice, once into a double play. Well, Elvis hitting at 250 as he faces Burley. Get a bunt, and it's a little bit toward the mound. Burley, Brett gets it and fires to first in time to get Andrus.
Now, Burley's a solid fielder, and all the bunts today just haven't gone far enough or close enough to the line. He's been able to get over and get all of them. He may be 35 years old, but he still bounces around pretty good on the mound. Makes nice, accurate throws. Needed to get a little bit closer to the line to get that base hit. Mitch's bunt pretty much did the same thing.
Well, 2 up, 2 away here in the sixth. And now Shin-Soo Choo, who is 0 for 2, steps to the plate. Choo had some pretty good success against Burley over the years. And didn't really want to start that swing and couldn't hold it up. It's 0-1. Choo came in hitting .424 against Burley. 14 of 33, and that's dropped down a bit with an 0 for 2. Loops one into left field, falling in a hurry. Pilar comes on, you have to stop and play it on a hop. And Shin-Soo Choo with the 2-out single is aboard. For Choo, just his 6th hit over his last 10 ball games. He is aboard with 2 outs.
Hit it off the end of the bat. Fortunate for him that he did, otherwise it would have gone a little farther. The left fielder could have caught it.
Here's Beltre, who has grounded out twice, once to short, once to third. First pitch straightens him up. It is 1-0. Adrian hitting at .255 for the year. Beltre also with good numbers. We showed you those before at .364 against Burley. Takes the next pitch in the dirt. And it's 2 balls and no strikes. The Rangers with 5 hits now off Burley. He has given them 1 walk, and that 1 walk really figured in prominently to the Rangers scoring back in the third. Towering fly ball to left. Coming on Pilar as the wind pushes that toward the infield, and that'll do it for the Rangers. A 2-out single, no damage in the 6th. They strand their 4th runner. We're going to the 7th. Rangers 1, Blue Jays 1.
Mateo, Emilio.
Yeah, Michael Young honored before the game tonight. Our fourth game summary after the Young honor. And a 1-1 ball game. Both ball clubs scoring early in this game. Toronto on the board first and Rangers on the board in the third inning. Michael Joyce driving in that run with his 14th RBI of the year. Mark Burley, 6 innings of work, 3 strikeouts, but 11 groundouts. Aaron Pareda now has entered the ball game for the Rangers. Will take over in the 7th. Dealing to the number 9 hitter, Anthony Gose, misses inside for ball 1.
Aaron had his first rough outing as a Ranger. He was working on 8 1/3 scoreless innings in 9 outings going into his outing in Houston the other night. He allowed all 4 base runners to get on base. Ended up giving up his first run as a Ranger this year. He's been pretty solid other than that one outing.
1-1 pitch. And that's fouled back to the screen.
Just a little bit late on that one.
Yeah, tune it up just a little bit more.
Fortunately, he got screened.
Ghost tonight is walked and grounded to first. Hitting at 250 as he faces Pareda. Big 6'7" left-hander deals and a shot down the third baseline. It's a fair ball. Ghost with good speed is going for 2. Here comes Chu's throw. It's not in time. And Anthony Ghost shooting one the opposite way. Doubles to start the 7th inning for Toronto.
Well, after that foul ball, it was pretty obvious he wasn't going to be able to get around on his fastball. He got around enough on this one to keep it fair. Kind of inside outs this ball. Right down the line. Very well placed.
Adrian playing up the cut of the grass, respecting Ghost's speed and his ability to bunt. Double now puts him in scoring position back to the top of the order. And Jose Reyes chops the first pitch foul. It is 0-1. Reyes tonight has walked twice and flied to center field.
He's trying to hit a ground ball to the right side to move that runner over. On the first pitch anyway. He might decide to bunt on the second pitch. Second strike.
And Mitch Moreland up at first base, so if the ball's hit right at him, they may have a chance to keep the runner at third base.
Did the same thing Ghost did.
Yeah. A little roller fortunately was about 4 or 5 feet foul when it went by the bag. Maybe less than that. No, Pareda now in front of the count. No balls and 2 strikes to Reyes. Ghost at second base gets a pretty good lead. The pitch inside and low at 98 miles an hour. Well, it's got to look like even more than that. A big guy throwing as easily as Pareda does. That ball's got to get on in a hurry.
Yeah, when you watch him let go of the ball, it doesn't look like it's going to go 98 miles an hour.
Now the 1-2 pitch. Going to third is Ghost. The pitch is popped up. Shallow center field. Jonas Martin waiting for it to come down. And Ghost able to reverse his path and get back to second. Don't you know, Leonis wanted to climb up and catch that up way up in the sky and throw him out.
Yeah, he knew what was going on, but he couldn't force the ball to come down any quicker than that.
And a good thing that was put in play because Ghost had third base stolen.
The third base coach was probably screaming at him to get back. Adrian tried to fake like the ball was coming to him to make Ghost slide. Ghost paid attention. It looked like the third base coach was able to get back. Luis Rivera is the third base coach.
Well, that's the first out of the inning. Ghost still at second. Melky Cabrera steps in 0 for 3 and was grounded out all 3 times this evening. All 3 of the at-bats had been against the starter, Robbie Ross Jr. Pareda okays the sign. The pitch fouled away by Cabrera. 0-1. Cabrera 1 for 2 with that big double in last night's game, plating the only 2 runs in the contest. Runners in scoring position. The Blue Jays getting just about what they're hitting overall, right around 250. Moreta, a couple of looks at second. Going to third is Ghost. The pitch is a strike. The throw, not in time. A great throw by Chirinos. Beltre had the hand and the ball and the glove down there. And now Ron Washington is going to go out and talk to the third base umpire, Hal Gibson. Hard to tell if Adrian got that tag down. Like the ball was up a little bit.
Shouldn't be much doubt with this one.
Yep.
He's safe.
Yep.
Great camera shot.
Boy, that is.
You can't miss that one.
And Ron Washington now has issued the challenge. So the umpiring crew, Hal Gibson and the crew chief, Dale Scott, will go over and put the headsets on. And unfortunately, I don't think the Rangers are going to get this one overturned. The call on the field is safe. That camera shot right there. It looked like Adrian caught the ball, and then as the glove came up a little bit, he just couldn't get it back down in time.
Well, there wasn't much secret that Ghost wanted to go. He was running when Reyes popped up to center field. It's a pretty good jump.
And the fans here at Globe Life Park just got a close-up of the shots you all saw on our camera, and the umpires here. Of course, the umpires here don't have anything to do with the decision now. It's out of their hands. It's decided in New York. They, folks in New York at the replay center make the call and relay it to the umpires here. But they are looking up there at the scoreboard themselves. They're interested spectators. And the decision has been rendered, and safe is the call, so that it's upheld at third base. The call of safe by third base umpire Hal Gibson. Ron Washington not able to get that challenge approved, and now the Rangers, with one out and the runner at third, will bring the infield all the way in. A 1-1 game. Only took a minute 20 for that challenge to be resolved. No balls and 2 strikes to count. Rangers in at the cut of the grass at every infield position except for Beltre at third. The official word on that replay is, on the challenge, is the call was confirmed by replay, which means that they saw the evidence that the initial call was correct. Moreta with the 1-2 pitch. Cabrera, slow chopper to third. Here comes Beltre. The only play he has is the first, as Ghost got a great jump coming down the line, and he scores. A little tapper by Milky Cabrera gets the run home, and the Blue Jays have taken a 2-1 lead.
Oh, there's speed coming into play with that run. It's tough to defense speed. He stole third base when everybody knew he wanted to. He gets a good lead, a good jump. No angle for Adrian to throw home. He just outran that play. See the nice, got a nice little lead. No hesitation. No chance to get him at the plate.
And you saw Ghost make that little move to the inside of the line, which is perfectly legal now, coming down from third base. He blocked Chirinos' direct path for a throw from Beltre, even if Beltre tried to come home. So the Blue Jays have taken the lead 2-1, and that'll do it for Aaron Pareda, as the right-hander Alexio Gondo will be summoned from the bullpen. Bases empty, 2 away here in the 7th. The Jays have taken a 1-run lead. We'll be back after this timeout on Fox Sports Southwest.
keep this baseball going.
Okay.
Well, Alexi Ogando into the game facing Jose Bautista. The first pitch is low for ball 1. Bautista tonight, a perfect 2 for 2 with a walk and a solo home run in the first inning, singled in the third. Ogando back to the plate. This is wide with a breaking ball, and it's 2-0.
Numbers for Alexi, 22nd game. He's pitched frequently, to say the least. And still trying to work on getting that 7.64 ERA down a little bit. 9 walks in 17 innings.
And ball 3 is low and inside. Now, I don't know which is more concerning to me. I don't know about you, Tom, the 7.64 ERA or the 3.25 opponent's batting average. That's, I worry a little bit more about that. Alexi is just not being able to put it together, and he walks Bautista on 4 pitches.
Yeah, you know, when we saw Alexi at his best pitching out of the bullpen, 9 walks in 17 innings was something you would never imagine, let alone the fact he was tough to hit. So he's been getting hit, and he's been walking people. Not himself yet.
Yeah. Well, the 2-out walk puts Bautista aboard. Now Edwin Encarnacion, who is 0 for 2, steps in. Encarnacion a walk back in the first inning. In the 5th, he hit the fly ball that turned into the double play from Leonis Martin to Robinson Chirinos. 0-1 the count after the foul ball. Encarnacion with 15 RBI in May. That's second in the American League to Miguel Cabrera. Check swing foul, didn't mean to, but he's down in the count now, 0-2. Well, the Blue Jays on a double, a stolen base, and an infield out have taken the lead here in the 7th inning. 2-1 the count, the score. 0-2 is the count. Edwin Encarnacion. Way inside, that breaking ball kind of slipped out of Alexi's hand. 1-2. Bautista stepping off his lead at first, held on by Mitch Moreland. A wedgie cam right down the right field line, showing you that vantage point. Ogando with a 1-2 pitch. He lost his bat out of his hand, and the pitch fouled away over the Ranger dugout. Encarnacion couldn't tell whether he was throwing that bat to foul off a pitch or
yeah, that was strange.
It just slipped out of his hand. He doesn't seem too concerned about it. I've heard of guys getting that bat knocked right out of their hands. Is that one of them?
He just kind of reached for it in an awkward way and really didn't have both hands squeezing the bat when he made contact. It just went right out of his hands.
Pitch in the dirt. Going to second is Bautista. The throw, not in time. It's like a little delayed steal by Jose Bautista. Either that or he read that ball in the dirt pretty quickly.
He got a perfect jump when that ball hit the dirt. Tough to tell.
Yeah.
The jump was so good, I'm not sure if it wasn't a steal.
It's going to be scored a wild pitch, so leave that up to the official score. They can worry about that. If he read that coming into the dirt, that was a pretty quick read.
It sure was.
So Bautista now in scoring position. The count is 2 balls and 2 strikes to Encarnacion. Gone to the long look to second. Now comes to the plate. Misses low and outside. Well, Alexi's gone from 0-2 to 3-2. Encarnacion batting cleanup. Brett Lowry, the third baseman, waits to be next. 2-1 Blue Jays. Encarnacion at the plate looking to increase that lead. Ogando with a payoff pitch. Outside, ball 4. He loses Encarnacion, so back-to-back walks to Bautista and Encarnacion. 2 aboard with 2 outs. And Mike Maddox is going to make a trip out to the mound.
Alexi's thrown 11 pitches, 8 balls, and 3 strikes. Now, he had 2 tough right-hand hitters, and he's pitching them both carefully. But that's something that never overmatched him in the past.
Well, folks, the Rangers play the Cleveland Indians coming up on Sunday, June 8th. And the first 10,000 kids get a chocolate milk glass courtesy of Dairy Max. Come on out and celebrate June Dairy Month at Globe Life Park with this great giveaway. You can get your tickets at TexasRangers.com. Or you can call 972 Rangers if you prefer. Maddox's visit to the mound is finished. He goes back to the dugout. Some memories being made out here at Globe Life Park tonight. And every time the Rangers are in town, you want to have dads and their kids stocking up on things to talk about for the next 20 or 30 years.
Yeah, I think most of the people tonight, Buzz, will say that they were there on Michael Young night.
Yep.
They were there early enough to see it. I think most of the people were. Something you say to yourself, you're glad you were there to see it.
I know we're glad we were here to see it.
Yep, me too.
1 ball and no strikes to count. Brett Lawrie has struck out all 3 times he has come up this evening. Had a rip and a high fastball. Fouls it back to the screen. It's 1-1. Lowry struck out twice against Robbie Ross Jr. The only 2 strikeouts that Robbie recorded tonight. And then he struck out the one time he faced Sean Tollison. He's got Jose Bautista at second base, right at the bottom of your screen, getting his lead. Encarnacion, the runner at first. 1-1 pitch. Up the middle, off of Ogando. And behind the bag at second, Elvis Andrus corrals it and safely aboard, as Elvis had no play, but that was a rocket that may have gotten Ogando on the hand after it ricocheted out of his glove.
Whatever it hit solidly because it slowed the ball up. That ball was going back at 95 miles an hour, would have rolled fast into center field. No, it didn't just glance. It hit pretty solidly, it looked like it. That's his bare hand.
Yep.
That's got to be sore.
Let's see if he doesn't get his glove up to go along with that bare hand. May not have.
No, that's all hand.
Yep.
Whoa, boy.
The glove was late getting there, and that's all on his bare hand, his throwing hand.
That's like trying to catch Ogando's fastball without a catcher's mitt.
Exactly. Exactly. And Elvis back behind the bag, able to save a run for the moment, but it's, that ball coming off the bat at 93.2 miles an hour.
Came off about the same as it went in.
Kevin Harmon, Ranger trainer out there looking at him. Neil Kotz. And that's who they want to bring in. Not going to take a chance with Alexi. And I don't see how he could continue getting hit on the inside of his hand, the palm or in the fingers. No way you could have any feeling in your hand at all. So Neil Kotz will be asked to come in from the bullpen, and he'll get as much time as he needs to get loose. He will inherit a bases loaded 2-out jam here in the 7th inning. Blue Jays have already taken a 1-run lead, leading it 2-1. And Neil Kotz asked now to come on in and get the final out of this 7th inning. So another pitching change underway. We'll take a timeout, come back and tell you about Neil Kotz right after this.
The Rangers trail 2-1 to the Blue Jays. They will wrap up this series tomorrow afternoon at a 2:05 first pitch here at Globe Life Park in Arlington. We want to do a little promotion of that game. It's R.A. Dickey and his knuckleball throwing self going up against Adrian Beltre and the Rangers. Should be a good matchup. Hopefully, we'll be looking at the rubber game in this series, guys. Hopefully, things will be tied up. That, of course, brought to you by AT&T Uverse TV as we get you ready for tomorrow, fellas.
All right, I like that. A little optimism from Emily. That's good. Glad to hear that. If the Rangers can comply and come back and win this ball game, Neil Cox coming into a difficult situation. The seventh inning here, he gets the bases loaded. 2 outs. He's going to face the switch-hitting catcher, Deanna Navarro. Here are the numbers for Neil this year.
Yeah, we'll keep our fingers crossed on Alexi Ogando. I was going to say about one guy a day gets hurt, but lately it's about 2 guys a day get hurt. I mentioned the Prince Fielder had to have an injection in his neck. Hopefully he's going to be back ready to play in a couple of days. And how Matt Harrison, significant concern about his back. Derek Holland seems to be making nice progress. Hopefully we'll see him soon.
Colby Lewis sitting there, the trio that Rangers had counted on being in the rotation. And who would have thought that at this time Colby Lewis would be the only one of the 3 that's pitching still. Been a weird year. Now, Neil Cott's ready to go. Navarro steps in 0 for 3 tonight. He's got Bautista, Encarnacion, and Lowry. Third, second, and first. Cott's first pitch is chopped foul down the third baseline past Rivera. It is 0-1. Navarro, a pair of grand slams in his career. Tonight he has grounded out all 3 times. Once to first, once to second, once to third. Neil Kotz with the 0-1 pitch. Little loop around into left field. It's going to hang up for Shin-Soo Choo. He's there to make the grab. And Kotz leaves them filled. So we'll go to the bottom of the 7th. The Blue Jays taking a 2-1 lead. And now please join the Director of In-Park Entertainment, Chuck Morgan, as he introduces God Bless America.
And all of Major League Baseball as we pause to honor the men and women of our armed services, both at home and around the world. Tonight we invite you to join in singing God Bless America with Master Sergeant Erica Stevens.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America.
1 lead with which to work. And we'll take a look at the Budweiser pitching line. The 35-year-old veteran southpaw. 6 innings of work, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. And here in the 7th inning, he will face Alex Rios, Mitch Moreland, and Robinson Chirinos. Crowd of 39,723 on hand on the night that the Rangers honored Michael Young, and maybe they can honor him with a comeback victory over these Blue Jays. Rios 1 for 2 tonight. First pitch floats outside for ball 1. Alex, a 2nd inning single, was caught trying to swipe second base. Pops a pitch up between the mound and second. The second baseman Tollison coming down to make the grab. And that is out number 1. Time here for a Mazda game break with John Radigan. John? All right, John, thank you. Oh, Brian Dozier going crazy.
He's having some kind of year, boy.
Yes, he is.
Check out the rankings where he ranks.
11th home run.
He's leading in runs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's 1, 2, tied for 3rd now with leadoff hitter, tied for 3rd in home runs, leading in runs by quite a bit.
Rangers will see the Twins on this next road trip coming up after the Seattle series.
He's 3rd in stolen bases, by the way, too. What a year.
Moreland takes low. It's 3 balls and no strikes now. Mitch trying to get aboard with 1 out here in the 7th. Robinson Chirinos to follow. Burley hits the outside corner, 3-1. Pitch last time up tried to bunt his way aboard. He was leading off the 5th inning. Burley threw him out. Didn't quite get the bunt close enough to the line. 3-1 pitch, fouled back. And I think Mitch is like a do-over on that one.
Yeah, it's something that Mitch shouldn't abandon just because he got thrown out that time. It wasn't a very good bunt. But with the 3rd baseman playing shortstop, you just have you don't want to sacrifice bunt it. You can turn around like you're going to sacrifice bunt it, but you have to at least push it or slap it so it gets to the dirt.
Call strike 3. Moreland caught looking at that pitch on the inside corner, knee high, and it looked like maybe a cut fastball that came from the inside of the plate to the corner. And that is strikeout number 4 for Burley.
He's a master at the mound. Takes the art of pitching to the highest level. I haven't watched the miles per hour. I haven't noticed one more than 84 miles an hour, though. But you can count on one hand the amount of balls that have been hit on the good part of the bat. They've been hit on the end of the bat. He's jammed a lot of the hitters. Let's see what the highest one is. 84 is the highest one.
Yep.
84 to 68.
One pitch floats outside.
75.
Yeah, you hear about guys being painters on the mound, painting the corners.
Yeah.
Well, he's taking that to the.
He's a Rembrandt.
He is. It's exactly right.
That's what Jamie Moyer did for a number of years, and between the ages of 32 and 42, Jamie Moyer was pretty much at his best. Burley's 35, which sounds a little bit old for a pitcher or a player, but really, he still has the desire. There's no reason why he can't keep doing this for 5, 6, 7 more years.
1-2 pitch to Chirinos is outside. Robinson tonight 0 for 2. He's lined to left field and grounded to second base. 2-2 pitch and a base hit to left field by the dive of Brent Lowry. Chirinos aboard that hanging breaking ball. Chirinos able to turn it around just enough to get it by Lowry. Well, that is the 6th hit of the night for the Rangers against Mark Burley.
A couple of the hits have been curveballs. Michael Choice got the base hit to drive in the Ranger run on a curveball. That one stayed up even more than the one to Michael.
No, Chirinos at first. Here's Leonis Martin, who has walked and singled. He scored the only Ranger run. And he bloops one to left. That's going to fall for a base hit. Chirinos will put the brakes on at second. But back-to-back 2-out singles. Rangers with Some two-out magic going against Burley and the Blue Jays. Luis Sardinas is coming to the plate.
Sardinas has a hit, and he's grounded out. So he's made contact a couple of times.
And John Gibbons going to the mound. There's some action in the bullpen for the Blue Jays. Loop and Delabar. And John Gibbons making a slow trek out to the mound. He will take the ball from Mark Burley and say, nice job, big guy. And Burley says, yeah, that's what I'm out here for. So Burley finished. We'll have a pitching change underway. Loop is coming in. We'll tell you about him when we come back right after this on Fox Sports Southwest. Let's take a look at tonight's AT&T fan photo selection for this ball game. We will reveal tonight's selection as being from Shannon. A good job. 3 Ranger fans, courtesy of Shannon. I assume Shannon is probably the one in the middle, or maybe the one on the right, or the left.
Well, that narrows down pretty good, Buzz. Maybe it's the one that wasn't in the picture. Maybe it's the one that took the picture.
Could have been. It could have been. Unless that just appeared out of nowhere.
Luke, tough to hit, 172 opponent's average, but he has walked 10 guys in 18 innings. Make him throw you a strike.
Side-arming left-hander, and Sardinas fouls the pitch off. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Louis tonight is 1 for 2, single to center field in the 3rd inning. Last time up, tap back to the mound. He's got Robinson Chirinos at second, Leonis Martin at first with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th inning. Rangers trailing by 1. And Sardinas can turn that around with a base hit. Loop a check of second. And the pitch pulled into the hole, base hit. Chirinos coming around third. Here comes the throw. It is cut off. Chirinos sliding in, and Sardinas with the RBI single ties this ball game at 2.
Boy, there's a rally for you. 2 outs, nothing going on. Chirinos, Martin, and Sardinas. Bang, 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 game's tied.
Well, the base hit to Sardinas, and again, Todd Gibbons going out to the mound. Robinson Chirinos sliding home with the tying run, and that's going to do it for Aaron Loop. So he faces one hitter, and he gets Ron Washington all excited, waving that runner around third, and he got Chirinos to score. Well, the Rangers with some 2-out magic against the Blue Jays. And, another pitching change underway. Back to tell you about the new pitcher right after this on Fox Sports Southwest. Well, the Rangers have come back with 2 outs in the 7th inning. They drove Mark Burley from the game. And then Aaron Luke came on to give up the Luis Sardinas RBI single to tie things up. Now Steve Delabar will come in and face the top of the order, Michael Joyce.
He's got to be sporting the league's best facial hair. That's some stylish facial hair, boy. Sporting a pretty good fastball, too. Probably be mid-90s. He can get it up there, boy.
And Joyce skies one to shallow left field. Reyes, the shortstop, going back, and he makes the catch, and that'll do it. Joyce out of 1 pitch. Rangers, though, come back and tie it up with a run on 3 hits. They strand 2. We're going to the 8th at Globe Life Park. 2-2, Rangers and Blue Jays.
From the progressive fan of the game, it's got to be Dom Graves. New Ojima vet, let's see, what a night you've had. You watched the Michael Young ceremony, you sang the national anthem, now you're watching hopefully a Ranger comeback. Dom, congratulations.
I hope so.
Here's the shirt, progressive fan of the game. I got to ask you this, you've been watching baseball all your life. Who's your all-time favorite player besides Michael Young?
Hank Greenberg, Detroit. Hank Greenberg, Detroit.
There you go. All right.
That's it. That's it.
And you had a story about Hank?
Well, no, not a story, but I can tell you this, that every time he got up to bat, they would shout, "What's on your bat, Hank?" And they'd shout, "It's a fly," and boom.
All right. Well, appreciate it, Dom. Right, congratulations. Thank you for everything. Buzz.
All right, Doxson.
Boy, he sang the national anthem. He sang it pretty well,
yes,
too, boy.
Did.
Sang it with some gusto.
Yes, he did. Well, Neil Kotz sawing off the bat in Steve Tolles' hand. He had to go back and get a new one. And count is no balls and a strike. Tollison tonight has walked, and twice he has grounded out to short. 0 for 2, leading off the 8th inning, a 2-2 ball game, and Kotz misses low and in. Now, the news from the Ranger dugout on Alexi Ogando is good. The x-rays were taken a negative on his right hand. Right now, it's just being classified as a bruised right hand for Ogando. Chopper right back to Neil Kotz. Underhand to Moreland. Tollison is retired, 1 away. Kevin Pillar is coming up.
Yeah, that's fortunate that it's just a bruise. The ball went back at him at 93 miles an hour and hit nothing but hand. And slowed a line shot down to where it didn't get out of the infield. Elvis was able to get it. So it hit him hard, and to only have a bruise, and it might be a bad bruise, but fortunately there's no broken bones.
Yeah. Pillar 1 for 3 tonight. Had a second inning single. Strike 1 from Kotz. Pretty good stuff tonight. Good fastball for Kotz, and that's been inconsistent for him this year. The last few times out, it's been getting better. Shot down the first baseline. It's a fair ball. Headed toward the corner. Pillar going into second as Joyce gets the ball back into the infield. But an opposite field double, and the go-ahead run is at second now with 1 out, and Anthony Ghost coming up.
Center fielder Anthony Ghost.
Villar with his second hit of the night.
He did a nice job of taking an outside pitch the other way. Ghost did that in the 7th inning. Hit a ball right down the left field line for a double. He ended up scoring the second run.
So 6 hits now for the Blue Jays, 8 for the Rangers. A 2-2 game. Ghost with that leadoff double in the 7th inning. Around a score of what at that time was a go-ahead run. Trying to bunt his way aboard and fouls it off. That got a pretty good piece of Robinson Chirinos. So Ghost giving up the idea of trying to drive Pilar home from second base. He'll try and bunt his way aboard and leave it up to the other guys.
Well, Ghost has a walk and a double, so I'm not going to say anything negative against him. But if I had to have someone drive someone in, I guess I'd bet on Reyes instead of him.
Yeah. Jason Frazier loosening in the Ranger bullpen. Looking forward to maybe Bautista and Encarnacion for a right-handed hurler to come in. But right now, Koch dealing with Ghost. Pilar at second and 1 out. Late swing and miss. 0-2. Ghost is probably really sorry he started swinging.
I'd say he fooled him a little bit with that breaking ball. Didn't like it until it was in the catcher's mitt.
0-2 the count. Outfield playing goes way around to the left. Infield about straight away. 1-2 now. Good job by Chirinos to keep that ball close to home plate. Koch came on to get the final out of the 7th inning. Gave up a 1-out double here in the 8th, and now working to Ghost with a 1-2 count. Check him second. And the pitch just off the outside corner. And not by much.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yep, that was.
Skag showing you the 2-inch margin between the pitcher and the outside corner. And that one just outside.
Ghost is eyeballing him.
It is. Koch now with a 3-2 count on Ghost.
Pretty obvious what he's trying to do. Trying to chase the pitch a little bit outside.
Crowd of nearly 40,000 getting behind Neil Koch. The payoff pitch. Call strike 3.
Took one too many, though.
That one right at the knees, and Dale Scott, the veteran home plate umpire, ringing him up. 2 gone.
Boy, tough pitch, but we've seen it called a strike the last couple days.
Now Mike Maddox, after this strikeout, out to the mound to talk with Koch and Chirinos.
You know, Buzz, it seems like we've seen in the last couple of weeks more pitches like that, right at the bottom of the zone, barely touching it, right at the top of the zone, barely touching it, called strikes than in the past. It's almost like it's maybe not a directive, but it's almost like the umpires are calling that pitch more now than ever before.
A few years ago, there was that saying out, the umpires were hunting for strikes to call. They were told to do that in spring training. And it looks like that's what we're seeing now.
Yeah. And they're not outrageous calls. They're basically touching the strike zone. They're just pitches that maybe haven't been called in the past quite as frequently.
Right.
And, you know, they're not getting much of an argument from the hitters. It's almost like the hitters are starting to become a little more accustomed to it, too.
Reyes waiting the 0-1 pitch. Loop down the right field line. That is going to fall for a hit. Around third, coming in to score is Pilar, going to second with a dive, and in safely is Jose Reyes, and the Blue Jays have taken a 3-2 lead as Reyes dumped one right down the right field line for a double. So a pair of opposite field doubles. This one just a floater off the bat of Reyes, his 10th double of the year, but it drives in the go-ahead run, and Reyes now with 10 runs driven in.
Well, there's been 3 key doubles for the Blue Jays in the last couple of innings. A ground ball down the right field line, a ground ball down the left field line, and now a little blooper toward the right field line. Reyes showing his speed. He never hesitated. Strong throw by Michael, but not in time.
A big 2-out double for Reyes. And 3-2 the score now with Toronto on top. Melky Cabrera 0 for 4, but has an RBI. Here's another look at that little Texas leaguer. Literally. Gotts with the 0-1 pitch. Straightened up Cabrera. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Cabrera has grounded out all 4 times this evening. Last time up was with Gose at third base and 1 out. In the 7th inning, he produced a run then. The pitch in tight to him, and it's 2-1. Cabrera hitting at .313. He has now increased his RBI total to 20 for the season. He's got Reyes at second. A 2-1 count with 2 outs. Now 2-2. Cabrera waiting, Cox with a new baseball. Peering into the sign, and he is ready to go. A little pop-up on the infield. Sardinas, the second baseman, makes the grab, and that'll do it. But the Blue Jays, with a 2-out double off the bat of Jose Reyes, take the lead again. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's now 3-2 Toronto.
Two now in the bottom of the 8th inning as they come to bat, and we get ready for Rangers Live, presented by Esurance. John Radigan here at Globe Life Park in Arlington. After the game, we'll have a complete post-game wrap-up. Ron Washington's comments. We'll hear from the players. Emily Jones works the clubhouse, and we'll also look back at that Michael Young pregame ceremony. Mark McLemore joins me, too, right here in the Captain Morgan Club. Here we are. Mac's here already. We'll see you right after the game, guys.
All right, John, thank you. Well, Elvis Andrus leading off in the Ranger 8th. Rangers again trailing by a run. Now it's 3-2 Toronto. And Elvis takes strike 1. Elvis 0 for 3 tonight. Last time up tried to bunt his way aboard. He was thrown out. Elvis has had good success against Delabar.
Watch out, Elvis.
Low bridge by that high tight fastball. 1-1. Delabar, the 30-year-old from Fort Knox, Kentucky. Off the end of the bat. Took something off that to Andrus, and it's 1-2. Delabar, originally property of the San Diego Padres, had a terrible elbow injury in 2009. He had to put several screws and a plate to rebuild his elbow, and he didn't pitch for the next couple of years. The Mariners signed him after laying off for a couple of years, and he got back to the big leagues with them. Two and two to Elvis. Elvis leading off the 8th inning. Rangers have out hit the Blue Jays 8-7, but they trail 3-2. Both clubs playing error-free baseball tonight. Delabar to the plate. And a pop-up foul territory. Encarnacion runs out of room just before he gets to the brick facing of the seats over there. And a wise choice to pull up and not challenge the brick. Still 2-2. Navarro flashing the signs out. Delabar ready. And another foul ball. This one a little hotter off the bat. Elvis at 248 as he faces Delabar. Andrus had his 11-game hit streak snapped in last night's ball game. And he takes strike 3. He knew it. Delabar nailing down the outside corner knee high, and Andrus is the first out here in the 8th inning.
That pitch is right there. Elvis swung at a couple of pitches that were up and in and out of the strike zone. And he just wasn't ready for the one that was a good one to hit.
Here's Shin-Soo Choo, who singled his last time up. First pitch from Delabar. The knee-high fastball for strike 1. Choo 1 for 3 tonight. The average at 305, exactly where he began play this evening. Trying to bunt his way aboard and fouls it back over the screen. It's 0-2. Shin-Soo at the start of play tonight, 7th in the American League with that 305 mark. Still leading the American League and 2nd in all of baseball with his on-base percentage, which was .431. Got him swinging. A good tailing fastball, and that is back-to-back strikeouts for Delabar. 2 out, Beltre coming up.
Adds a changeup to the mix. It's got a good fastball, hard slider, and a nice changeup, and a great beard. That's not scraggly like some of the ones we've seen. That's a thick, full beard.
Yep. Adrian takes the pitch off the outside corner.
A nice mustache to go along with it.
That wouldn't have played very well in Boston last year, would it? Most of those were a little bit scraggly.
That'd be a little bit longer than that.
Yeah.
Adam Lind has one kind of that length, but a little scragglier.
Yeah.
Like when the wind blows, Adam's beard kind of blows in the wind. Delabar's just stays still in the wind. It's thicker. More substance to it.
More body to it?
Yeah, more body. He's using better product.
There's a strike. Beltre tonight is grounded out twice.
There's Adam Lind. He's dreaming about Delabar's beard.
2-1 pitch. Boy, Beltre had a rip, fouled it straight back, and it's 2-2.
Adam's not bad. It's just not quite in the same league. He needs to shave the bottom inch of it off and look a little thicker.
Take off the split inch. 2-2 is low, and the count has gone full. So Beltre trying to extend this 8th inning and get a board in front of Alex Rios. Blue Jays leading 3-2. Rangers have the bases empty in the 8th inning, and Delabar set. Payoff pitch to Beltre. Got him swinging. Delabar ends up striking out the side in order. Rangers gone in the 8th. We're going to the 9th here in Arlington. 3-2 Toronto. Airlines are teaming up on a Rangers cap giveaway for the first 15,000 fans. That's coming up on Monday, June 9th. Catch the Rangers' final game against the Cleveland Indians and snag the only baseball cap giveaway this year. Tickets are available at TexasRangers.com. The guy's got not only a good-looking cap, but also a pretty good-looking baseball. It's like an official Major League Baseball. Now we go to the 9th inning. Toronto coming to bat, and they will face right-hander Jason Frazier, who comes out of the Ranger pen to take over.
Yeah, Jason's numbers on the season: 1-0, nice ERA, 2.63. Opponents are only hitting 2.04 against him. Gave up a 2-run homer in that game in Houston. Houston came back from a 4-0 deficit. George Springer hit the 2-run homer against him.
First pitch
looked like a changeup or a splitter.
Yeah,
not a fastball anyway.
Bautista on that left arm, and that's where he has all the equipment. He's going to head down to first base, nodding his head that he's okay. And
hitters will take a little exception if the ball up and in is a 93-mile-an-hour fastball, but Bautista knows that's just a splitter that got away from Jason. Fortunately, he's okay. Glanced off his arm. Making any less skill.
Yeah,
83 miles an hour can do some damage too.
I wouldn't imagine that as a hitter you stand there and say, "Oh, that's only 83. That's not going to hurt."
You're diving out of the way. You get to first base and you might say, "Whew, glad that was not a fastball."
Yeah.
But no, when you're getting out of the way, you're not thinking along those lines. Just doing whatever you can to get out of the way.
Encarnacion lets a bat fly. Goes back into the seats about 8 or 9 rows.
Let one fly earlier.
Yeah, he did.
That one got way up in the stands. They're fighting for the bat. Guy's got him right around the neck. Go with the bat, man. Are you crazy? Guy wanted that bat pretty bad. He's going to choke the guy to death with it.
I guess. Fortunately, it looks like everybody's okay, except for maybe a bruised ego. Oh, 0-1. Pitch fouled away the other way. No balls and 2 strikes to Encarnacion. Blue Jay first baseman tonight, 0 for 2. He's flying out a couple of times. He's walked twice. Hitting with Bautista at first and nobody out here in the top of the 9th inning. Jason Frazier on to try and keep this a 1-run ball game. Give the Rangers a chance to turn the score around in the bottom of the 9th inning. Snap that 3-game losing streak. How did Jay Knox get that?
Got it back.
How'd you do that, Knoxy?
I just took it on the way up. I took it. That's it. Got it back. I'm going to give it to a little kid down here, Buzz. There we go.
Beltre to second and on the first. Around the home double play. Oh, and he dropped the ball.
Pretty slick turn by Sardinas. Long throw by Adrian to get it to Sardinas, who came across the bag with that sidearm flip. Didn't turn into a double play. Mitch couldn't hang on to it at first base, but it was a pretty good looking potential double play.
Yeah, I had already turned away. I figured that was going to be racked up. I was writing it in the book. Well, that's one of those plays that you say you can't score an error on a double play. That's one of the exceptions.
Yeah, I agree.
You possibly can. It's up to the official scorer, certainly, but
I guess the rule is you can't what? You can't assume the second out.
You can't assume the second out, but
you can see it.
You can, yeah. That's up to the official score. So we'll see how that was scored. No error put up on the board yet, but anyway, Brett Lowry up there with Encarnacion at first and 1 out now. Lowry tonight struck out the first 3 times and hit a line shot that went off Ogando's hand. Last time he lines one to right field. That is down and cut off by Michael Choice in right field. He will get the ball back in, and they'll have to hold Encarnacion at third. But an opposite field double by Lowry. The Blue Jays threatening to do more damage here in the 9th. They have runners in second and third, and 1 out for Deandro Navarro.
Lowry had struck out his first 3 times up. Got a couple of hits to go along with those 3 punch outs now. I've seen the Blue Jays several times take that outside pitch the other way. Nice play by Michael Choice, though. He cut that ball off. If that gets by him and caroms off the wall, might have been a run. Well, he might have made a nice play to prevent a run. We'll see what happens here.
Oh, it's second and third and 1 out. Navarro come up and hit from the left side against Frazier, and the Rangers will pull the infield all the way in now. Cut that run off if they can. Navarro 0 for 4 tonight. He was grounded out 3 times and flied to left field. Look at the Ranger defense up at every position. A rip and a miss as Frazier came in with a splitter. They're going to charge Mitch Moreland on that play at first base with an error.
Well, I agree with it.
Yeah, I do too.
And I'm sure Mitch would agree with it too.
And the first error of the ball game by either ball club. Oh, and 1 the count. Frazier nodding in agreement, comes set. In the dirt. Nice stop by Chirinos. One ball and 1 strike. Navarro not here for last night's ball game. He had been on the bereavement list, missed a couple of games. He's up there now with Encarnacion at third base and Brett Lowry out at second. 1 out in the top of the 9th inning. Frazier trying to cut this run down. Potential run from scoring from third. Keep this a 1-run game. Jason is set, a check of the runners. Rip and miss by Navarro.
A good combination out in front of the splitter, a little bit behind the high fastball. It's a situation, 1 ball, 2 strikes, where Jason's thinking strikeout now.
Put himself in that position. It's a good spot to be in right here. Frazier appearing in for the sign. Chirinos with a series of signs. 1-2 pitch. Tried the splitter again and missed off the outside corner. It's 2-2. Pretty good idea. Miles Michaelis, right-hander, loosening in the Ranger bullpen. Two balls, 2 strikes. Lowry getting his lead right behind Elvis Andrus out there at shortstop. Frazier sets, and the pitch high and tight. That runs the count full. Well, Navarro, the 6th hitter in the order, followed by the second baseman, Steve Tollison. Casey Jansen, the closer, up for the Blue Jays, ready to come in. Frazier sets the payoff pitch. Fouled out of play. And we'll try it again. With first base open in this situation, you can pretty well go ahead and go for the strikeout. If you walk him, it's not a big deal. No. He lays off a tough pitch, that's fine. Crowd trying to get behind Jason Frazier and the Rangers. Again, the 3-2. Fly ball, right field, not very deep. Choice to his right, makes the catch. Tagging at third, coming down the line is Encarnacion. And the throw goes back to third after the cutoff, and everybody's safe. In to score on the sacrifice fly, Encarnacion, and that makes it a 4-2 Toronto lead. Connor Navarro with his 17th RBI of the year. Well, the error does come back to haunt as Encarnacion scores the run. Got Lowry on the back into that and almost able to nail him. 2 outs now. Tollison comes to the plate. Lowry down at third base. Tollison a walk and 4 trips, 0 for 3 officially. Breaking ball is outside from Frazier. Tollison hitting .269. A couple of RBI. Brett Lowry, the runner at third, with 2 outs, a run across here in the 9th. Out of play, and that evens the count. Looking forward to the bottom of the 9th inning. It'll be Casey Jansen. You have Alex Rios, Mitch Moreland, and Robinson Chirinos, the first 3 Rangers to come up. Jason Frazier trying to make sure that they only have a 2-run deficit to try and overcome. Now 1-2 to Tollison. There's Jansen. He is loose and ready to come in, and there are the 3 that he will face. Rios and Chirinos both 1 for 3, and Moreland 0 for 3 tonight. Frazier agrees with Chirinos, and he's ready for the 1-2 pitch. Now 2-2. Jason Frazier, the long-time former Blue Jay. Spent all but half a year of his first 9 in the major leagues with Toronto. This is low and outside. That runs the count full. Now, Donaldson is able to reach and extend this ninth inning. Kevin Pillar, the left fielder, is waiting in the on-deck circle. Marinos, give me that slider on 3-2. We'll see if we can't dispose of it. Payoff pitch, got him swing.
Good.
The strikeout ends the ninth inning, but Blue Jays come up with a run. It was unearned on a hit, an error, and a hit batter. Bottom of the ninth, Rios starting things off 4-2. Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. By AT&T UVerse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PICK-ATT. Rethink possible. And by your Texas Ford dealer. Take the EcoBoost Challenge to see why Ford is the best in Texas. Well, the closer, 32-year-old Casey Janssen, on now to see if he can shut down the Rangers. Rangers will try to get to the Toronto finisher to at least tie this game up. They trail 4-2. Alex Rios leading off, takes strike one.
Jansen spent some time on the disabled list. They've had several guys get opportunities to save games. Fred Cecil's had save opportunities. Luke has had save opportunities. Santos, who got hurt, was the primary closer.
Now ball to Encarnacion, who underhands to Jansen, and Rios is retired, one away. But Jansen gets the first out, and now will face Mitch Moreland. Jansen out of UCLA was the first team All Pac-10 pitcher of the year. Moreland, a rifle shot, gloved down there by Encarnacion. Jansen covering. Rangers now down to their final out as Moreland hit a rocket, but flagged down by Encarnacion. And Rougned Odor will come off the Ranger bench to pinch hit for Robinson Chirinos. Odor coming to the plate as a pinch hitter here in the ninth inning. Odor in last night's ball game was 1 for 2. Sacrifice bunt. They're trying to keep the Ranger hopes alive in the ninth. And a swinging strike one. Odor at 208. A home run, a couple of RBI. 24 big league at bats so far. Jansen back to the plate. Aims one high and outside. The hits are even at 8. The Blue Jays have made a little better use of them than the Rangers have. 4-2 Toronto. This one skied to shallow right field. Going out, second baseman Tolleson. Near the foul line, puts it away, and Jansen comes in, has a 1-2-3 inning to get the save, and the Rangers lose their 6th in a row to the Toronto Blue Jays here at Globe Life Park. So Ron Washington's club extends their now